on the DK though, which is not something we saw last week. And hopefully we'll see DJ Alex maybe on that Rest Druid later on today. But game number 1 is going live.
I think Arma might not be available for the Penguins, so yes, Dave going to be multi-classing, normally playing a mage. Perhaps it's an opportunity for Otlov, the newcomers. They've substituted out their Restoration Shaman from previous tournaments for a Discipline Priest. We saw nLite having success with this. We also saw a new team in Europe, the Deleters, returning to the tournament scene, running their jungle, but they were defeated in a jungle mirror with nLite. Already we see the weaknesses of that Discipline Priest, bringing in an Unholy Death Knight, bringing in a melee cleave and running down the Priest is certainly the best strategy to utilize, although now decent counter pressure on a Matic. He needs to be aware of his health and not overextend a line of sight DJ Alex. DJ Alex moving in to line of sight. Matic gets Cyclone though at low health, denying not only his damage but denying the recovery of the team as well.
Yeah, Mercy's still in a lot of trouble. He's trying to run away. He has the pain suppression. He's not using it. Very greedy as well. He has that Rapture cooldown. With the Rapture, he can spam power word shields in this situation. He gets interrupted on the Shadow Man. He's fallen quite far behind. Tony and Kel are trying to do everything they can to try to keep him alive, but look at his mana. It's not doing well. However, they have burned through basically every defensive cooldown DJ Alex has left. If they can hold on just a little bit longer, they might be able to counter, aggress, and take down Matic. Mercy is certainly running out of time. Yeah, Mercy is certainly running out of time. Stun into Freezing Trap, potentially secured. Could be the end of the match here. 12 seconds away from Matic's defense. He's stunned up around the corner. If there's any follow-up, Tony goes for the Cyclone. He gets the Cyclone. This could be it for Otlov. Matic on the run, retreating, buying a couple more seconds. 2 more, in fact, that he needs to be able to survive. Touch of Karma now available. Just needs to make sure he trades it. He's trying to hold on to it. Could be a bit of a close call. Dispelled on the Gladiator safeguard, but ultimately trades out. Now we see the barrier. Dave going to grip Mercy out of the barrier. He gets stunned outside of it. Beautifully done by DJ Alex. Mercy having to trade paint suppression amidst this as well. Matic still falling behind. If they can crowd control DJ Alex almost whatsoever at this point, Matic's going to go down. They reconnect. Matic is going to get KO'd, and Mercy pulls off what is probably the most difficult task.
So Otlov team, you know, talks about Zuniaki being the sole representation for Discipline Priest. Now Mercy's putting his foot in, and he's 1 game up here in the lower bracket. Yeah, let's see what the Penguins can get done. If they can stay on target, if they can get on top of Mercy, it's going to be good, but this is already a horrible start. Look at Matic. Touch of Karma, first global onto Mercy. His first ability was Touch of Karma. This could put them far behind. Ring of Peace trying to take out Mercy of that power of that barrier. The powered barrier is so powerful in order to keep Mercy alive. He's actually able to get away, crossing the entire map. And Matic's just he's in so much trouble. This is a horrible start once again for the Penguins. DJ Alex trying to keep him alive, manages to find Holy Lights, but this is what Zico was talking about. It's all about calculated aggression. At this point, it just feels like Penguins are so far behind. Mercy, he's looking quite healthy. He's doing fine. Look at all his defensive cooldowns, and they're actually forced to go after Tony Farrell.
Yep, Penguins are changing strategy here, going after the Feral Druid, running the grapple weapon for Kelxie, trying to slow down the pace of the game, but grapple weapon isn't super effective against the Survival Hunter. They have tons of abilities they can use without their weapon currently equipped, so I'm not the biggest fan of this. Penguins are looking like they want to play for a slower game in this style. The Blinding Light selected from the Paladin as well, so they're definitely looking to crowd control the Priest. If they were looking for that, I'm surprised that they were. I guess Dalaran is just a good map overall for them. Freezing Trap onto DJ Alex. Matic in trouble. Trinket, Blessing of Sacrifice. Insane amounts of cooldowns have already been forced from the side of Penguins. Mercy really hasn't even been dented. Matic is still not stabilized. Mind controlled off the side at low health. Yes, Dave, Chains of Icing his own monk so he doesn't get pulled off the side, but it doesn't matter. That is a huge bite. This is an insane amount of power.
Defense for the Penguins. They're swapping up their composition. We had questions about their defense in the game. Now they bring in Yes Dave on that Destruction Warlock, hoping to shore up some sort of advantage because, I mean, we were expecting Penguins to win this. You guys had a 71% vote in favor of them. Now they're 2-0 down, and Otlov team are looking to beat them in, I think, less than 10 minutes of gameplay. Absolutely incredible here.
All right, let's see if Yes Dave's swap pays off here. Maybe not feeling it on the Unholy Death Knight. Gonna be switching to the Destruction Warlock, already securing crowd control onto Mercy. Kelxie, the target, getting bursted down in a stun. Needs to be careful. Gonna feign death, reduce some of the pressure, and then retreat back with the team. We see Tony Farrell and Mercy positioned on the corner, waiting for the crowd control. Definitely gonna be the strategy of the jungle to do hit and runs against the Destruction Warlock. If they don't have crowd control, there is no reason to be even near the opposing team. You're just gonna be soaking up Chaos Bolts. They're waiting for their stun locks. waiting for some of the crowd control to end. Kelxie jumps in, secures the freezing trap. Once again, the grapple weapon selected. I'm not the biggest fan, although Kelxie may need to be careful. He's out in midfield, and Yestave is free casting. Perhaps the Windwalker not the best target overall in this composition. I'm almost wondering if Otlov weren't prepared for this setup.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what Penguins can do. In the last game, Matic really was the main pressure point. I feel like him and Alex kind of struggle to rotate through the defensive cooldowns. We'll have to see what they can get done in this game. I think having the extra defense of Yestave on the Destruction Warlock is going to be able to help him out if he's being tunneled down like this. Yestave theoretically should be able to get lots of fears, lots of counter pressure. Matic in a little bit of trouble, trinketing out of the stun. He's opting to, he actually dropped the Fortifying Brew, so lacking a little bit of defense there. I'm curious to see what talents he's running, as well as dropping the, he's running Diffuse Magic now, so he no longer has the Dampen Harm, which I don't know if is necessarily the best choice against Jungle Cleave, unless, of course, Otlov has been running Maledict. If there's a Maledict to diffuse off, then it's a good choice, otherwise you really don't get too much value.
Freezing Trap secured, Psychic Scream on the Warlock, good crowd control here, but Matic anticipated it, activating Touch of Karma before being stunned, so now he's totally fine and can counter-aggress. Yestave secures crowd control on the healer, Kelxie's in a stun, Trinket on 10%, possibly dying to damage over time effects. Mercy trying to reconnect, but still crowd controlled. That aspect of the turtle, the green shield, going to be fading shortly. Tony Farrell stunning up Yestave, preventing him from connecting. Matic opting to not overextend. His defensive lineup not looking too great in that position, but regardless, Otlov are going to push forward. DJ Alex respecting the crowd control, breaking it immediately with the Divine Shield. A huge amount of pressure currently out on Matic, but now that he's stabilized, it's Kelxie who is in trouble, still stunned for one more second. Exhilaration available. He's going to pop it, recover back with the pain suppression, taking stock of cooldowns. If Kelxie can stay alive, they have a good opportunity to kill Matic with the next freezing trap, but can he stay alive?
That is the question. He's still so low. Mercy throws in the power barrier, but unfortunately it's just too much damage. Is he going to be able to hold on to just 1% health? Matic pushes in. He's trying to close out the game. Interrupt onto Mercy. Is there a follow-up? There doesn't need to be. Overwhelming pressure from the Penguins.
Let's see if they can pull it off.
Yep, we'll have to see. Penguins threw in a curveball, or a curvebolt, I suppose, in the last game with Yestave coming in on the Destruction Warlock. But now Otlov team should have had time to adjust. Mercy has a pillar. Maybe he's running the Premonition to avoid those fears. We'll have to see if they win. This is still a match point in favor of Otlov team. They would eliminate the Penguins with a win here.
Yeah, it's exactly like Zico said. I really feel like for Otlov, they just need to focus on doing as much damage as possible. Yestave can't be in this situation where he's just bullying Mercy. Look at Kelkis. He's just caught here, getting destroyed. Mercy in the midfield. Luckily, Tony Farrell was there to back him up, interrupting the fear. Exhilaration has already been traded out. Now, good crowd control onto Mercy. He gets caught into a Repentance, into a Hammer of Justice, now into a Fear. The Priest is just getting crowd controlled endlessly. Honestly, Otlov, switch up your strategy. Go after this Warlock just a little bit more. This is a complete disaster. You cannot allow your Discipline Priest to just get completely bullied the entire game. Makes it really difficult for him to heal, but I mean, if they're getting the defensive cooldowns, maybe this will work. I just feel like it's such a risky play.
What cooldowns? I mean, now finally a Touch of Karma, but Kelxie has nothing. This Sphere could be the end of the game, if not the next. Chaos Bolt connects. Kelxie holds on by a thread. Power Barrier gets knocked. Mortal Coiled outside of it. Can they stun lock Kelxie outside of its defense? He tries to disengage back to his healer, catching a big power word shield, but Matic is all over him, interrupting Mercy. Now Mercy has multiple interrupts to deal with Kelxie's positioning, and certainly the Windwalker can't be the target. Certainly has to be something else. Kelxie triggers out of the stun. Good counter pressure on Matic, but DJ Alex saves him with the Blessing of Sacrifice. Infernal's entering here from the Vision of Perfection. Yestave's Chaos Bolt potentially lethal. Not able to find it. Kelxie line of sighting, but he Demonic Gateways in line of sight. Kelxie disengages around the other side. Mercy is still crowd controlled. Matic is trying to close it out. Still crowd controlled. Fists of Fury dealing huge damage. DJ Alex in position, throwing out the Judgment. Mercy stalls it with the Artifice of Time, trying to buy as much time as possible. Freezing Trap secured. Matic anticipates the attack. Fortifying Brew and retreating back behind the corner. Not looking to overextend and throw the match. They've burned through everything. The next stun, the next fear easily closes the game out. Can Yestave secure the crowd control? Paralysis. Looks like it was able to be premonitioned or breaking, unfortunately, there. Mercy gets out of that crowd control. Yestave's on top of him. Mercy needs to be careful. He doesn't LOS the fear. This could be game over. Matic is on target. DJ Alex rolls over. Yestave is still crowd controlling Mercy. One more fear, and it's certainly going to be it. Kelxie holds on. Where's the stun? DJ Alex goes for the Repentance. No premonition. Kelxie in a lot of trouble. Tony Farrell feared away. Leg sweep with no way out. And Penguins are going to bring us to a game number 5. And Otlov team, they just seem totally lost.
It has been close. We've been talking about Otlov team maybe showing up their defense a little bit. They almost got the kill on Matic. It was a very close call. No defensive cooldowns left on either side when the game did end. Now we're at game 5. One of these teams will be going through to top 6.
Why'd they pick this map? Ashamane's Fall as jungle into a Destro? Otlov team are throwing.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe...
I actually don't mind it that much.
I don't mind it that much if they play a more defensive strategy and they just go after Dave in the matchup. They have to stop DJ Alec. Do not allow him to get the Repentance. Actually,
he's playing
Premmed it. There we go.
He did manage to get the Prem, but he traded out his Everyman for himself. So he used Everyman for himself to get out of the Hammer of Justice so he could premonition on the Repentance. But now that's out of the way. He doesn't have that available. The next time DJ Alex moves in and is able to get that Hammer of Justice into a Repentance, they have to make sure they stop it. And I like this strategy from Otlov a lot more. They're allowing Mercy a lot more freedom in the match, and they're getting massive damage onto Dave.
Gladiator Safeguard, Unending Resolve, multiple cooldowns. Dave trying to counterattack,
Nice.
but Cycloned at low health, denying the heals of DJ Alex. Ultimately, though, with Avenging Wrath up, he should be able to get a big heal. There's the big heal. Well, Cyclone was 1 second away, but even still, actually, a lot of damage following it up. How soon does Avenging Wrath fade is now the next question. If DJ Alex gets another Holy Light, certainly Dave will be okay. Skull Bash is out of the way. DJ Alex doesn't need to deal with that interrupt. He can free cast. Kelxie is trying to play defensive, do the hit and run strategy that I thought they were going to employ in the earlier rounds, but Kelxie gets stunned up. Big burst damage to follow through, crushing through the Gladiator Safeguard. Kelxie could fall if he's not careful. It's match point. He can't afford to. 2 Radiants come in from Mercy, but even still, Kelxie on low health. Matic eating the freezing trap for his Paladin. Beautifully done there on his part. Ring of Peace protecting here, denying the barrier attempt, but unfortunately not knocking him out too effectively. DJ Alex rolling up for a stun. Mercy line of sighting him as long as possible. Kelxie moving over to slow him as well. Matic on target. Still aspect of the turtle available. Not much defense for Dave. Divine Shield sacrifice. So each team has 1 get out of jail free card cooldown to trade, and after that, it's nothing left.
DJ Alex trades out the Divine Shield, but a nice Cyclone on Dave freezes up the damage. Aspect of the turtle is forced to be used by Kelxiz as well. Mercy has a little bit of catch-up to do right now. Full trap secured onto DJ Alex. He's got the Trinket. He's got the Ultimate Sacrifice. Can Dave hold on? Does he have the time? He gets caught into a maim stun. There's big burst damage. Otlov coming in clutch. But Dave does manage to hold on off the back of DJ Alex Ultimate Sacrifice. But at this point, there's really no defensive tools for Penguins to work through. If Otlov can just survive a little bit longer, but unfortunately, Kelxiz falls. Penguins advance. Otlov eliminated.
He's finally joined the dark side, and I couldn't be happier to see it, honestly.
We'll have to see how it plays out for him.
This probably pains him so much with how much he's complained about this class in the past, but he's going to be locking in the Frost Mage. I think overall this composition Zizon has brought in is something we haven't seen too often. Normally you see the Warlock Frost Mage with the Restoration Druid, but Drainer's going to be opting for that Paladin instead, and I don't really mind the pick. We're going to have to see what Zizon can get done offensively, because nLite, with this composition, the Warrior Retribution, Shaman, they've just looked so strong overall into basically every composition.
Especially with the unbound freedom now for Retribution Paladins, perhaps that could be the X factor for nLite to be able to pull off victory. So far, Kara falling pretty far behind in terms of pressure and consistency in this. Tana feared 3 times. If Jamie can secure a Polymorph, it could be a Divine Shield. Jamie blinking forward. Polymorphing Zuniaki, polymorphing the Dispel, likely gets Spell reflected on the Dispel. Drainer in a Repentance. This is a talent that Kara has been really pioneering on the Retribution Paladin. It's for extra crowd control onto the enemy healer. That could definitely be a crowd control effect that Zizon weren't ready for in the future. But while they're attacking Jamie, they're leaving a Destruction Warlock open. Let's see how much Mercy can get done.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly what he can get done. Jamie trying to kite away right now, look for a Polymorph. Doesn't manage to find it, unfortunately. Tana, with that Restoration Shaman, is going to provide good backup. And this is one of the things I actually spoke to Vanguards about, because this is something that he's been playing quite a bit, and he thinks that playing with the Restoration Shaman is really important as a Retribution Paladin, because all of a sudden you have the backup of the Wind Shears and the Grounding Totem and the Offensive Purges to really help you in these situations where a Frost Mage could bully you. So it gives you a little bit of more offense, because you can get off, you know, the Ice Barrier, the Temporal Shield, as well as sort of defend some of those range spells like the Polymorphs that Jamie's going to be able to put out. Tana, of course, is going to have to do a really good job with that, but he's done a great job in the past. So I'm expecting big things for him in this matchup.
All right, let's see what they can get done. Repentance secured. Mercy the target, using that demonic gateway to escape. Jamie backing him up with polymorphs onto the Retribution Paladin, denying the reconnect. Good peels from Jamie. I'm wondering why they went with the Holy Paladin instead of the Restoration Druid on Drainer. We've seen the Mage Warlock time and time again, but it's almost always been with the Druid, at least when it's been successful. So the Paladin lock-in is a bit peculiar. I'm wondering if that ends up costing Zizon game number 1. Drainer in a full Repentance. Mercy low on health. Zuniaki connecting. Drainer trying to respect the damage by breaking out of the crowd control, lining up some big Holy Lights to save Mercy, but now no Divine Shield, no Sacrifice, no Blessing of Protection. They've really gotten nothing from nLite so far. This comp, I would say, is not working.
Well, it's like you said in the pre-show, you really didn't want to see that Destruction Warlock, and it is because it is such a juicy target for the Retribution Paladin and that Arms Warrior. So far, we haven't seen any Destruction Warlocks able to survive. You'd think with the Frost Mage and the extra mobility Mercy has by picking up that Demonic Circle, it's able to portal away. The problem is, Mercy, without the Mortal Coil, lacks a lot of the offense you kind of need to set up kills. Now looking for a little bit of damage. Jamie's been doing a good job making sure everyone is nice and snared up in the match, but once Kara and Zuniaki can stay on target for an extended period of time, it's going to be really difficult for Drainer to keep Mercy alive. If we look at mana, it's relatively even for both of these teams. Tana actually kind of struggling to keep Zuni up at this point. Double Shadow Fury comes in, massive burst damage. Tana trying to go for the Wind Shear. Mercy with a nice fake. Now using the Demonic Circle to port away. Is he going to be able to land the Fear? Unfortunately, Tana line of sights it, and that kill attempt from Zizon has been lost.
The Warriors looking like a better target overall, but they're already so far behind. Can they close that gap in time before the Warlock is taken out? Kara securing crowd control. Zuniaki trying to do all of the damage. Repentance gets counterspelled. Now Tana won't have to deal with it. He should be able to more easily heal Zuniaki. However, in a Hammer of Justice, not so easily. Kara breaks it with the Blessing of Sanctuary. They fear into the Blessing of Sanctuary. Big mistakes here by Zizon. That crowd control now going to be basically on full diminishing return. Jamie tries to carry with the follow-up Polymorph. They've been crowd controlling Tana over and over, but just no damage onto Zuniaki. It's Drainer now into Repentance. Mercy on the run. Kara and Zuniaki in hot pursuit. This could just be the end of the match. Blessing of Protection overlaps. It's going to be dispelled off likely by Tana. Unending Resolve needs to be enough. Drainer connects one big heal, stabilizing Mercy, but at the cost of 3 cooldowns for 1 crowd control chain. That is not a trade that Zizon can afford to make. And now they will not have basically any outs for the next crowd control if Kara is able to secure it.
Why do you think they went with a Paladin over Rest?
That's what I was saying in the beginning of the match. If you're running with the Paladin, then you should be playing aggressive. I feel like on top of Tana, getting Hammer of Justice as frequently as possible and playing an aggro Mage Warlock.
They got a good setup there. They managed to get the Hammer of Justice into a Polymorph, so maybe it is just so Jamie has a little bit more setup. Drainer with the Hammer of Justice can go get a stun on Tana. Then Jamie, of course, can move forward and try to shut that down. There's really not too much Karen Zuniaki can do about it. Mercy is just going to be kiting through the game. I guess the Blessing of Freedom is also nice for Mercy to run away. If Tana's there for purges, you can't really do too much. Also, one of the problems with the Paladin is you don't have cross hex dispel, so Tana can get he can bully Jamie in this matchup whenever he's landing full hexes. Jamie's going to have to sit through them full, unfortunately. Luckily, he has the Relentless, so that's a good option. We've now stepped foot into Dampening. We're about 5%. And as Dampening ramps up, I still can't help but feel like Zizon's going to be falling further and further behind.
Yeah, I don't like the Paladin selected here from Zizon. I don't like the Destruction Warlock selected, period. I think maybe an Elemental Mage could have been a good Wizard Cleave, but Jamie is apparently playing the Mage and the Elemental, so it's really not an option for Zizon. The Paladin is so susceptible to Kara's crowd control as well on the Retribution Paladin. This is looking great for nLite. This is a series that could swing back in fourth to Game 5 based off the blind pick victory. If nLite can pull off a Game 1 victory, I would say that they're looking pretty confident and solid to make it all the way through the series, and this would be a huge fall from grace for Zizon, being the #2 seed for quite some time in the summer season and then falling out of the top 4. Of course, that's great for nLite as they battle with Wildcard Gaming, the other remaining team, for that 4th place spot to qualify for the European Summer Finals. Tana in a Polymorph right now, but even still, I feel like Tana's been crowd controlled so much, and his team is just not taking damage. Kara has support for it. He's been getting hexes on Jamie, preventing any sort of momentum there. Drainer's losing on mana. They're losing on cooldowns. I feel like this next crowd control on Drainer could be the end of the game. Kara is looking to fake cast and land a Repentance. Lands a full Repentance. Unbound Freedom. Zuniaki and Kara going to connect with the Avenging Wrath. This is going to be a huge amount of damage on Mercy. Drainer needs to be ready, but ready with what? Divine Favor. Not even doing too much there to heal Mercy. Mercy running the Demonic Circle, trying to kite away and avoid the attacks. Kara feared off. Still desperately to connect. Zuniaki looking like he's trying to make his way around, but snared up by Jamie. Unending Resolve available in 9 seconds, 8 seconds. If Kara gets a Repentance, it might not be enough time. Kara not looking for it at all, likely on diminishing return. Dampening continues to rise.
Big damage from Zuniaki and Kara. Jamie having to play a really defensive game at this point. Keeping Novas, keeping snares, spamming out polymorphs on characters, trying to limit his uptime in the matchup. Mercy portals away, Drainer caught into a Repentance. Nicely done, and Mercy's just going to be in so much trouble, forced to trade out the Unending Resolve. Zizon in a world of pain. There's no pressure. Look at nLite, they're all full HP. Jamie's really just in desperation, putting polymorphs everywhere he can, but the problem is, when you polymorph up the warrior, he's going straight to full health. Kara's full health. No one's taking damage on the side of nLite. Zizon falling further and further behind, and this is just looking so good for the team of nLite. Zizon's in trouble, but they might be able to recover. Finally, a little damage coming in. Mercy gets completely topped off, but Sid, Drainer's mana completely tapped.
Yeah, and it's going to be really difficult. Well, actually, maybe not too difficult to drink. There's no Unholy Death Knight or pets or damage over time effects to stop it, but I don't even know if he's just going to be able to drink purely based on damage. Mercy is getting owned. This is the weakness of the Destruction Warlock, is just inevitably there's a melee cleave attacking you deep into dampening, and you can't really move too much, even with the demonic circles. Drainer on this Paladin, I'm not the biggest fan. Here was a nice play, the pre-sacrifice, breaking the Repentance and allowing Mercy now to counterattack, and with this opportunity, they need to be pushing for Divine Shield or Spirit Link Totem. They're running out of time. They've got no mana left in the tank. They're not finding the Divine Shield. They're not finding the Spirit Link, and I don't think Zizon are finding a Game 1 victory.
Yeah, and one thing I like is Kara, he's actually running the Repentance, so he's soaking up a lot of the interrupts that Tana would otherwise have to deal with. If Mercy and Jamie could land interrupt after interrupt on the Tana, it would be really difficult for him to actually heal. But the fact that Kara's running Repentance, you can see he just landed one on Drainer right now, makes it so Jamie and Mercy have to make a difficult choice. Do they use those interrupts offensively or defensively to get Drainer out of crowd control? And it's been working wonders here for nLite. The fact that Tana can just cast in the matchup, Mercy's low, Drainer completely tapped on mana. There's the Hammer of Justice. Drainer, every man for himself to get out of it, but he just cannot top Mercy off. Drainer with the Divine Favor tries to land a big heal, but still Mercy's just so low. Zuniaki, finally, there's a little bit of counter pressure, but he's still just marching towards his target. Zuniaki looking like the Terminator in this matchup. He's all over Mercy, and I don't think he's ever getting off him.
Yeah, Warbreaker, Sharpened Blade, big combo here. Drainer trying to recover. He's got absolutely no mana left in the tank. 31% dampening, 31% healing reduction in Game 1 between nLite and Zizon. Drainer throwing every defensive cooldown he's got left to allow Mercy to stay aggressive and in the fight and potentially get a Divine Shield. Demonic Circle, Mercy out of line of sight. Zuniaki leaping over, but leaping in a poly out of line of sight of Tana, a bit unfortunate. Kara gets feared away. This is stalling. Drainer may be able to drink. Doesn't look like he's even bothering to go for one at this point. Still Trinket, Spirit Link, still Divine Shield, still Rallying Cry, Die by the Sword. Lots of defense available for nLite. On the side of Zizon, they've got no Divine Shield, no Ice Blocks. Jamie at some point using those to save Mercy or get aggressive. Mercy has Unending Resolve in 2 seconds, but it might be 2 seconds too late here. Blessing Sacrifice going to overlap with it. 2 cooldowns for 1 chain. Mercy needs to get a big cooldown or a kill with this counterattack. The dude managed to finally get Die by the Sword 11 minutes into the match.
Yeah, Zuniaki trades out Die by the Sword. That was his Trinket as well. Tana has no Trinket available. Zuniaki could definitely be in some trouble. This isn't looking too bad. Tana needs to start topping off Zuniaki. There's a sheep snuck in by Jamie, and maybe Zizon can hold on. Drainer's mana's not looking good, but there's still good pressure on Zuniaki. He has to be careful. as they make their final push towards Mercy, but at 40% dampening, the Destruction Warlock is basically paper thin for the Arms Warrior, for the Retribution Paladin. They just need uptime. Jamie has been doing a good job trying to slow that down, but unfortunately, this assault from nLite is just never ending.
I know why they're running Paladin. I'll explain it after this, because I think Mercy is about to die. Big kill, sharpened blade available, not even going to be able to connect it. Mercy gets owned. I think Drainer's running Paladin because they didn't know.
To win this one, to qualify to the summer finals most likely, otherwise they're going to need a huge performance next week, and with the current meta not favoring them, it's going to look like a very uphill task.
I think we should anticipate Zizon to take this game into very deep dampening, unless nLite kind of compromises their positioning, which actually right now they are. Running out into the corner, out in the open, is potentially a mistake from nLite, as I think prior to dampening with the Restoration Druid substituted in, it's unlikely that we see Mercy going down. They realize that. They're actually making a swap, a miracle attack on Drainer to try and take him out. He is able to wild charge to Jamie, wrap around the corner and catch a couple of nourishes, stabilizing himself. Certainly nLite willing to spice it up, realizing the win condition on the Warlock is probably so slim that switching to the Druid in the earlier parts of the match before dampening is their likeliest kill opportunity, but spending too much time out in midfield means they're going to take a lot of damage in exchange, and I'm not sure if it's enough that they can afford to take.
Yeah, Jamie with a nice setup there, managing to find some polymorphs on Tana, now actually getting significant damage on Zuniaki and Kara, throwing in that Gladiator's Maledict. Tana having to respond with massive chain heals. What insane healing coming in from the Restoration Shaman. Zuniaki and Kara are so low on health that Ascendant's really working out well there for Tana, topping off his team, and now nLite, they're looking healthy, and they can once again continue the aggression on Mercy.
Drainer running the Spring Blossom build, definitely high synergy with the Destruction Warlock. Warlock not going to be moving too much, so put that Efflorescence, the green circle with the mushroom in the middle, down on your Warlock, and with the Spring Blossom's talent, you get a lot of extra healing. That is synergy we've seen time again between the Destruction Warlocks and the Restoration Druids. It also allows Drainer to comfortably sit through crowd control while the Efflorescence does all of the heavy healing. Tana positioned a bit aggressively here and gets punished into the full fear, possibly setting up for Jamie to get a polymorph. Jamie gets slowed by the hand of Hindrance. He is trying to walk his way over to Tana, getting the polymorph out of the bash, and now this is a scary moment for Zuniaki. Fortunately, the polymorph ending prematurely. Zuniaki should be all right, stunning Mercy, stopping his damage. Ray of Frost is prevented, and Zuniaki recovers.
Yeah, Jamie still trying to get some pressure rolling in the match. I want to see him drop Blizzard a lot more. He hasn't had a Blizzard down in the last 30 seconds, and it's just such a massive part of your rotation to get out those consistent frozen orbs, especially when you are trying to set up most of the damage for your team. I mean, Mercy is going to be limited on what he can do, being tunneled down by a red, by a warrior. Jamie trying to find the crowd control he needs. There's a full polymorph. It's overlapped, unfortunately, with the fear, but they get the crowd control. Do they have the damage rolling? Mercy just getting smoked. Massive damage from Kara. Stormbolt on Drainer. He has to respond with the Iron Bark. He traded out his Trinket a little bit earlier on as well. I believe that was off the back of Zuniaki's intimidating shout, so Drainer trades out a lot of his key defensive cooldowns. Mercy does manage to stabilize and hold on, but look, Jamie, he still doesn't have a Blizzard. It's really important.
Well, I mean, first time mage from Jamie. I feel like we were having this conversation in private. There's like two camps in World of Warcraft PvP. You've got rogue mage players, and then you've got the dampeners. Jamie's in the dampener camp, complaining about all the rogue mage teams, but never actually plays it himself. And if it's so good and it's so easy, why don't you play it yourself, right? Like, what camp is actually right? Because then when you got the other camp winning and the rogue mages are losing, the rogue mages say the other team, they're not playing anything that's difficult. So now the teams are forced to adopt a different strategy. This is definitely a mage meta. The only team really having any success without it, I would say, is maybe nLite. So can Jamie fill the shoes of that mage style play style, or is it going to be too hard for him?
I mean, we'll definitely have to wait and see. I think this is a matchup on this map that Zizon should absolutely win. If they don't win this matchup, I don't think they can win this series, because I don't know what a better answer is. I don't know what a better matchup is. I feel like this is really good, and even though there is a little bit of mistakes coming in from Zizon, I still feel like overall this composition is just so strong into what nLite is running. Should be able to win. They just need to keep the crowd control up onto Tana. Eventually, the cleave damage from the Blizzard, the Frozen Orb, is really going to start adding up onto Zuniaki. It's going to be a question of if Drainer can hold on to his mana, and Drainer has been doing a good job sneaking away. He's consistently going for drinks, but the problem is the Restoration Druid burns through mana quite quickly, especially when they go after a target, or when they're healing a target like a Destruction Warlock, who's just taking so much damage. So even if Drainer can hold on to his mana, at a certain point in the game, he's not going to have the time to go away for a drink, and that's when a big win condition for nLite comes in. The fact that Tana can hold on to his mana very efficiently in the match. Drainer is going to get caught in a situation where he has to just pump out heals. He will eventually fall further and further behind, but it's not at this point. It's going to be deeper and dampening.
I think the only reason you wouldn't be using Blizzard is if you want to be polymorphing, but we've seen the Mage Warlock Druid is just all about dealing damage, resetting the Frozen Orb as frequently as possible, drinking, setting up for burst damage deeper into dampening. I feel like time and time again, that's how we've seen Cloud9 play the Mage Warlock Druid. It's kind of just the Cloud9 playstyle. When you're not using Blizzards and they're not getting the Frozen Orb as frequently and they're not getting these spurts of damage. And Mercy also isn't really getting a lot of support in terms of snares, although maybe it's not necessary. You see Blizzard placed down here. Jamie trying to reset that Frozen Orb. Mercy gating away, but with Bladestorm active, Zuniaki's getting a lot of mobility. Kara's going to wrap away and line of sight the Warlock while Tana sits through a Poly. Unfortunately, breaking to the Infernal. So Kara bringing the Infernal next to Tana while he's polymorphed, breaking the crowd control, and now allowing Tana to play aggressive onto Mercy.
Yeah. Jamie and Mercy looking for some damage. Tana gets caught into a full fear. Are they going to be able to get anything rolling? Zuniaki taking a bit of damage, but he's playing the, I believe it's an Honor talent. I think it's an Azurite trait where when you use the Avatar, you get a big shield. So when we see Tana going into crowd control, Zuniaki is using his Avatar defensively instead of offensively in order to get a big shield that he can keep himself alive with. And I like that choice. It's solid. Kara can back him up with heals as well. And it seems difficult for Zizon to find pressure so far in this match. Drainer's burning through his mana. He's already at 50%. Is he going to be able to sneak away and drink? That really is the question. nLite is just not concerned about the drinks whatsoever. I feel like they're completely fine with Drainer just resetting his mana as often as possible. Actually, Zuniaki leaping over. He found him in stealth. And if they can deny, I don't think they really need to deny the drinks, but if they can do that, it's just an added bonus. They're actually making a swap over on the Drainer. He's in a full Hammer of Justice. Big damage coming in. I like the plays, but I don't think you should leave Mercy alone for too long.
All right. I mean, this is a lot of pressure right now. Next stun on Drainer. Zuniaki might solo him. That would be quite an impressive feat. Drainer repositioning Demonic Gateway out into midfield. Now Jamie and Mercy can free cast. Tana's in a polymorph. Kara doesn't seem to care. They're going to go all out on Drainer and try and take him out. This is a big gamble, but if they take it, they remove the best map from Zizon. Drainer using that wild charge perfectly to escape to safety. Good positioning from Jamie, and it looks like nLite have to give up that chase. They've spent too much time allowing Mercy and Jamie open.
Yeah, Zuniaki now going to be changing his focus, changing his target back onto Mercy, but you kind of alluded to it early on. There's not that much of a risk going after Drainer. You're probably not going to go down, and it's really difficult to take down Mercy. I mean, in the last game, they had massive uptime, and it took, I think, around 40% dampening for Mercy to actually go down. So it is a slow grind for nLite. They just have to hold on to their mana, keep up the consistent damage. If they can find a big burst window with Sharpened Blade, they can win in the early game, but it's just unlikely if Drainer's rotating properly. Mercy actually getting interrupted. Now a little bit of trouble coming in. Zuniaki and Kara, they're going after Jamie now. We're going to test him on that mage. He has one ice block left. He used his first ice block as an escape from crowd control, so maybe he could be a target, but I think it's unlikely. I feel like just going after Mercy is really the consistent play in this match, and we'll have to see if nLite can execute. I mean, I just feel like Zizon hasn't been able to beat nLite in so long, and they're always trying to do it with a Destruction Warlock, but it's a similar story. It's a similar result every single match.
All right, let's see if they can pull it off. Otherwise, I want to see Mercy's Destruction Warlock benched. I want to see Elemental Warrior, maybe Elemental Windwalker, something else. The Destruction Warlock has just, I feel like, not done them any favors into nLite overall throughout the competition. Mercy's in trouble, low on health. How is he going to trade this situation? He trades Unending Resolve, but at 23% dampening, is it going to be enough? Mortal Coil gets grounded by Tana. Beautifully done there by Tana. Shadow Fury, decent counter pressure finally here from Zizon. Kara doesn't seem like he cares. He's still just pushing aggressive onto Mercy. Tana gets stunned by Drainer. Drainer then gets stunned by Zuniaki. Crowd controlling him for a moment. Iron Bark available. Drainer needs to calculate when to activate this. It's going to be his last cooldown likely of the game. If he uses it too soon, he has to use it now to answer the Avenging Wrath. But even still, the Avenging Wrath is a lot of damage. Mercy's going to gate, but he outranges Drainer for a second. Drainer manages to sneak by, catches Swiftman, and stabilize, but Iron Bark is over. No unending resolve for 3 minutes. Avenging Wrath and Avatar are active. These are big damage-enhancing abilities for the Warrior and the Ret Paladin. Jamie's going to polymorph the Warrior, try and slow down the pressure, and give time for Drainer to breathe and stabilize his Warlock. If Tana lands a wind shear on Drainer here, could be the game. Definitely could be the game. No wind shear. He gets whiffed there. Maybe overlapped with the intimidating shout. That's unfortunate. Now Tana's in a polymorph. This is a good opportunity for Zizon to battle back. They stun Kara. They blast him down with big Chaos Bolts. They're trying to get the final Chaos Bolt to force the Divine Shield, or maybe get a kill if Kara isn't careful. Casting some Flash of Lights in the face of Counterspell is very risky, but they're trying to take the risks and pull this off. 3 seconds away from Iron Bark. Big heal from Drainer. No mana left on Drainer. Now, if Tana plays Babysitter here and stops Drainer from drinking, I don't know how on earth Mercy stays alive.
Yeah, this is the point in the game where it's so difficult for Drainer. He has to basically use every global cooldown to keep Mercy alive. Now that he doesn't have the Iron Bark, he can't afford to fall behind. If Tana throws in 1, 2 purges on Mercy, Drainer, he's not going to have the time. But there's good pressure. Kara getting low. Divine Shield comes in. This is the map. This is the composition. Zizon hand selected. If they don't win this matchup, it's going to be a nightmare. But luckily for them, it's not looking too bad. Kara's getting low. Tana coming in for the Spirit Link Totem. Manages to find it. Nicely done. But now he has to play catch-up. He does have the Ascendance. Is he going to trade that out as well? Doesn't seem to be the case so far. He's holding on. He's playing a little bit greedy. But this is where nLite starts developing massive pressure. Drainer's out of mana. It's 36% dampening. The self-healing of the Destruction Warlock is going to start really falling off.
Double Shadow Fury into full fear. Good crowd control by Mercy. Kara is isolated. They have to use Hammer of Justice on the Mage while Drainer was drinking just to stay alive. Mercy's going to gate back to midfield. This is the advantages of the Mage Warlock deeper into dampening, as the damage eventually just becomes unpreventable and unhealable. Can they pull it off and take down Kara? Kara's got Avenging Wrath rolling, Shield of Vengeance. Potentially big connect here for nLite. Mercy stalls with Mortal Coil, but his Iron Bark is over. He's 10 seconds away from an unending resolve. Zuniaki has Sharpened Blade. Tana goes for a big chain heal, standing on top of the whole team. Tana's just going to have to soak crowd control and try and get aggressive with his team. Intimidating shot, 1 second away from Trinket. Where's the stun on the Trinket? They stun the Trinket. Unending resolve may not be enough this deep into dampening. Mercy secures crowd control, but it was pre-tremored. Jamie gets follow-up with the Polymorph. Who's in more trouble? There's no defense remaining for Mercy. He's stunned up. He's desperate. He's looking for fears on the Warrior to stall as long as possible. Tana has Earthen Wall Totem. He's holding on to that. Now traded. Mercy needs to get out of the Earthen Wall Totem's defense. He's trying to waddle his way. Jamie Frost Novas them. Unbound Freedom. Both members going to connect, but the Earthen Wall Totem's defense is now basically useless. Iron Bark only available in 3 more seconds. No mana left for Drainer. Zizon cannot afford to lose their best map in their best matchup.
Ooh, this isn't looking too bad for Zizon. There's a fear on Tana into a Polymorph. Mercy is low at the same time. Zuniaki trying to take him down. Kara eats a big Chaos Bolt, but a Storm Bolt shuts down the follow-up. nLite on the ropes. Zizon in trouble as well. This could easily be a cross kill, but it looks like it's going to be Mercy who falls. And then nLite with this composition, this is not a matchup I really feel like these guys should win, but somehow...
Bare minimum top 3 in that final cup to qualify. It's definitely not looking good, but on the flip side, nLite once again playing new compositions, trying out new essences, and it's working out for them, looking like they should be able to advance here to our top 6.
Still not a fan of the composition from Zizon. I think Mercy just needed to go on the bench. The Destruction Warlock is getting owned by the Arms Warrior, Ret Paladin, Shaman. We've yet to see a Destruction Warlock, I think, find victory against this composition of nLite. Here on their final stand, Ashamane's fall, they have to pull it off, or as you said, their summer final dreams are going to be dashed. And nLite are, of course, going to be all smiley face about that, because in Europe it's a battle for 4th. Who's going to be the 4th and final team to go? Because likely, if I had to bet on it, it's going to be the 3 main Rogue Mage Druid teams. And now it's going to be a battle between nLite and Wildcard Gaming. nLite looking to make it just a 2-horse race down from 3. They just need 1 win to pull it off.
And can they do it? That is a question. This is what normally happens in the match. Kara, Zuniaki, they sit on Mercy for as long as possible, trying to just interrupt him, control him, stop the Chaos Bolts. Don't force Tana to really use that much mana. And I mean, they just have so many tools to do so. Problem is with this matchup, Jamie's going to have to create a lot of counter pressure. He needs to find windows of opportunity. And I just don't know if Elemental Shaman is the class to really find that big burst, consistent damage that Tana's not going to be able to deal with. Mercy finds a full fear, but he's in a lot of trouble. Drainer having to trade out the ultimate sacrifice, and what happens consistently, time and time again, is as dampening ramps up, Mercy's self-healing, it goes down. Kara, Zuniaki, with just the sheer amount of uptime and damage they're able to put out, Mercy just eventually falls in the match. So it's going to be up to Zizon. They need to find a win condition before 40% dampening.
All right, let's see if they can pull it off here. They have to pull it off. Lightning Lasso, big attempt here onto Kara, but no follow-up damage, unfortunately. Mercy does sneak in a full fear, but Sanctuary will remove that from Kara. Now trying to get aggressive. Sharpened Blade, Avenging Wrath, big burst combo here onto Mercy. Trainer lines up one heal, looking for another Holy Light, no disruption. We see a defensive Intimidating Shouts. Probably the wise move, as Jamie can use that Tremor Totem to save Drainer from that crowd control. Instead, nLite can just stop all of Jamie's damage and focus on building momentum, burning Drainer's mana away, and preparing for their ultimate one-shot on the Warlock deeper into dampening.
Yeah, Mercy finds a Chaos Bolt, but looks like Tana's going to be able to heal through it. And there has been good crowd control. Jamie's been able to sneak in hexes onto Tana. Drainer, of course, can help set that up with the Hammer of Justice. So there are windows of opportunity for Zizon. Can they capitalize on it is really the question. I mean, this is match point. If Zizon loses this game, they're out of the tournament. We kind of talked about there's only two. There's this tournament and one more. If they can't make a good showing here, it's going to be unlikely that they can make it to the summer finals, barring maybe like a first or a second place finish in the next cup, but we'll have to find out. It's definitely not a spot you want to find yourself in where your fate is out of your hands. You have to kind of rely on other teams not doing great, or Method Black making sure they're soaking up a lot of points, and it's going to be difficult for Zizon, especially just with how much they've struggled with this team in the past. They're down 0-2 right now. Doesn't seem like they have an answer for this Retribution Paladin Warrior, and as far as I'm concerned, they have bigger problems than this. I mean, if they can't take down nLite, what are they possibly going to do against some of these rogue mage teams?
I mean, they've kind of just been wiped away by the competition. They were solid in 8.1.5, but they've just yet to find a composition that can work for them here in 8.2. And sadly, it's coming to the end of the summer season, and they're just not going to have enough time if they can't pull off a victory against nLite. Not just one victory, they have to win 3 games in a row. nLite can change composition. Perhaps the jungle is an answer to whatever Zizon can craft for this matchup. They're taking huge amounts of damage, even pre-dampening. Drainer's interrupted. Mercy's getting owned. It could be the end of the game. They're trying to hold on. They're trying to not overlap cooldowns, but it's costing them so much. We're not even into dampening, and these are just such insane moments where Mercy barely stays alive. How on earth are they going to turn this around?
I'm really not sure. I mean, Mercy does manage to stabilize. He manages to hold on, but at what cost? Drainer trades out the Divine Shield. See on any result from Mercy. Finally, some decent damage coming in from Jamie. When he does have that damage available, he's got all of his bursts lined up as that Elemental Shaman. He can put out massive pressure, but the consistent damage just isn't there. And I feel like even though they get the burst damage out, nLite should be able to stabilize through it, should be able to hold on as long as they don't make any mistakes. C manages to find one Chaos Bolt, but now they're swapping to Jamie. Jamie's taking massive damage. Drainer luckily doesn't have to trade out his ultimate sacrifice. That would have been a complete disaster, but I like nLite kind of mixing it up in the match.
All right, nLite, I feel like you've got a game-winning strategy here. Just hammer down on the Warlock, burn down Drainer's mana, or potentially get crowd control kills earlier on as well. Beautiful hex there by Jamie onto the pre-Sanctuary from Kara, getting a little bit of extra crowd control for the team, but just no counter pressure on Kara or Zuniaki whatsoever. This build that Tana has come up with the Restoration Shaman is a huge amount of healing. It's definitely unique to him, and I mean, this team is unique to the entire tournament season. They're the only ones running Ret Warrior Shaman and then the Discipline Priest Feral Survival Hunter. They're basically playing every underrepresented spec that I can think of and making them work in coordination. Can they beat the Rogue Mages, though? If they can even overcome Zizon for this, close out the series, do they have an answer for the Rogue Mages? We saw Kara running the Retribution Paladin Feral Druid earlier on in the tournament. I'm wondering if they're going to try and run a double hybrid and try their hand at that for the Rogue Mage Druids, because that's what it comes down to, is either you figure out what it is that beats it, or you have to become it. I think Wildcard Gaming are in the same boat. I'm wondering what they've got prepared later on in the upper bracket. I mean, right now it's looking pretty grim for Zizon. They've managed to at least get Gladiator's Medallion from Tana, so he can't escape crowd control. So if Jamie is able to land a full hex, that's going to be an opportunity to battle back. Can Jamie get it?
Now we'll have to find out. Mercy uses the Demonic Gateway to run away. Tana trades out his Ascendance. He wants to keep Kara nice and topped off. Like you said, he doesn't have the Gladiator's Medallion, so if he gets caught in crowd control, he wants to make sure Kara Zuniaki nice and high, and it was a smart, intelligent play. Now Mercy in a lot of trouble. What are they going to be able to do? Drainer has to keep him alive, but look at Drainer's mana. He's almost completely tapped out. Mercy's in execute range. Good night, Zizon, as they are eliminated from the tournament by nLite. nLite, as well as when Cloud9 went head-to-head with Method Black and they brought in that Mage Lock Druid and just played it at a different level. Quite honestly, Method Black was not prepared for that. It was a miscalculation in their eyes. Could not compute, but when they have, you know, the right compositions in front of them, it just seems like they always have an answer. So I really feel like, change my mind, they're going to have to step up their game if they want to win this mirror. Method Black has really stepped up theirs. They have just been dominating everybody.
Coral Shield from Raikou. Unfortunately, they did enough damage to get the Gladiator Safeguard along with the Iron Bark. So that's 3 of the sort of minor trade cooldowns for Method Black and 1 Assault here from Change My Mind. Method Black, they're going for the throat. They're trying to go after the healer Minpoike, but he is getting backed up effectively by his mage Fried Kitty, denying Waz from connecting with that Vendetta. I would say Change My Mind came out slightly ahead in the initial exchange. Now going for the blind attempt, stunning up Raikou at the same time. Could be enough damage to get an ice block, instead deciding to Cyclone Raikou at low health. Now this could be devastating if they can switch the crowd control over to Chaz with something like a stun Polymorph, but it doesn't look like they have it available. Instead, Minpoike is Cyclone. Chaz is going to recover, and now Fried Kitty is on the defense.
Yeah, and this could easily be the first ice block, but Safeguard procs and Temporal Shield, massive healing, allows Fried Kitty to keep himself alive. Chaz managed to turn that situation on its head. With Raikou Cyclone at low health, Chaz said, you know what? I'm not standing around. He moved in, got the bash Cyclone on Minpoike, and then managed to get out the Temporal Shield and the Safeguard. Not necessarily a big victory, but I like the heads-up play there by Method Black. Now looking to get aggressive on Fried Kitty. Smoke Bomb dropped down, and Minpoike leaps in. He's got good healing on Fried Kitty. Are they going to be able to find the crowd control? Shadow Step Kick comes in for Macro. Blind onto Minpoike. He trinkets out immediately, does not want to fall behind. As he marches forward, trying to land some crowd control on Chaz, but unfortunately for Minpoike, right now, Fried Kitty's just taking so much damage. Minpoike gets interrupted. That was a huge misplay by Minpoike, not committing the Iron Bark. If Fried Kitty doesn't have to trade out an Ice Block, this will be a complete disaster. I actually can't believe it.
Well, Iron Bark looked like it's going to be enough here for Fried Kitty. Raikou's trying to force it, press the issue, but not enough damage to do so. Chaz now with no Iron Bark. Change My Mind counterattack. Raikou cycloned at low health again by Minpoike. But again, if there's no, they can't switch the crowd control to the healer. The Cyclone is just pausing. I don't think it's that effective. It's just costing a lot of mana, which is slightly in favor of Method Black at this point in time. Smoke Bomb from Acro. Not the biggest fan of that Smoke Bomb. Not really getting too much value as Raikou escapes it at half health. Waz is trying to crowd control Minpoike, maybe even just attack him. Raikou blinks over for a Frostbolt Ice Nova combo. Minpoike gonna wild charge Raikou and then come out of bear form. Big mistake here, I think, by Minpoike. If they have a follow-up bash, potentially at the end of the game, can they remove the Gladiator Safeguard? They do, but with 1 second late, Minpoike gonna survive thanks to Acro's blind on Waz. Chaz trinkets Ring of Frost, lining it up with the blind even though it wasn't used onto him. So I think that was a smart choice by Chaz, allowing his team to stabilize as they went very aggressive on Minpoike.
Yeah, Minpoike burned through a lot of mana in that exchange as well, and Method Black, the way they're playing it, they're really keeping Change My Mind guessing. Now going on Minpoike, pre-Iron Barks to Kitty Shot. Nicely done by Minpoike. That would have been lights out for him with no Bark Skin and no Trinket. That would have been the end of the game, but it still just could be. Minpoike's trying to get away. Cheap shot coming in from Acro, but I think Waz and Raikou are going to be able to have the uptime that they need. No, denied by Fried Kitty's Frost Nova. Now, unfortunately for Waz, he has to turn his attention over. Needs to try to land some pressure on someone else, as Minpoike does have Barkskin and his Trinket rotating back up. So I think Change My Mind, they're looking relatively safe. And on terms of mana, Chaz and Minpoike have actually evened out at this point in the match.
All right, let's see if Change My Mind can pull it off here against Method Black. I feel like the head-to-head between these teams is heavily in favor of Method Black, similarly to the spring season up until the very end. Here is good crowd control from Change My Mind, and Raikou is going to respect it. Immediately trading Ice Block, realizing that he's isolated. Fried Kitty has Icy Veins. This is going to be too much damage. Instead, immuning himself to it, but Change My Mind have continued the chain with Cyclones. Raikou on hypothermia. This could be enough pressure that Chaz has to use Iron Bark or expend a lot of mana to recover. Raikou is trying to stall by polymorphing Acro, and he has managed to stall effectively. Good teamwork with the follow-up Cyclone. Was cycloned away as well. Both rogues crowd controlled. Chaz switching the Cyclone over to Fried Kitty. Curious to see which team makes the next attack. Their mana so low, I am wondering if they opt to play defensive and try and drink, or if they go all out from this position. And Poike repositioning away from Chaz as Chaz was posturing to jump in aggressively. Smoke bomb attempt here from Waz. Fried Kitty gonna blink out of it. Hopefully back to safety with Minpoike. Waz sets up a stun on Minpoike. Where's the poly? Raikou blinks in and secures it. It's now Fried Kitty who's been isolated. Is he gonna have to ice block? Yes. And the ice blocks have evened out just as dampening begins.
Yep, dampening is just kicking off right now. Raikou, of course, is going to have a slight lead in terms of that third ice block if it does come down to that, because he was forced to use his ice block earlier. That means he gets a head start on his cold snap. Fried Kitty, he's just going to be holding on to his cold snap. There's a full blind on Chaz. He trinkets out, wants to keep Raikou nice and healthy, trading out the Iron Bark. Now full Cyclone secured on Minpoike. Fried Kitty, this could easily be his second ice block, but the Safeguard and Temporal Shield are enough to keep him alive. It was decent healing, but Minpoike is still really struggling to keep him alive. Chaz manages to find a Cyclone to freeze some of the heals Minpoike had available through a regrowth, and once again got immune. Nice Cyclones there by Chaz. Fried Kitty still not topped off. Minpoike, though, completely tapped on mid. He's got nothing left, Sid.
All right, let's see if they can keep it up here with nothing left in the tank. Chaz has just the tiniest bit more. Ice blocks are even. Minpoike's blinded with no trinket. This could be the game-winning crowd control, or almost certainly going to be a second ice block if they get follow-up. They don't. They drop the chain. Now Chaz is in Ring of Frost, but even still, without the follow-up, Fried Kitty is taking a beating. No mana remains for Minpoike, relying on Omen of Clarity to give him free regrowth heals to sustain Fried Kitty. Iron Bark Temporal buying more time, but Cycloned on the Temporal. This Cyclone was high value from Chaz. Chaz moving across the battlefield, likely to try and crowd control Minpoike, stuns him up, and this needs to be a block. Fried Kitty blocks on 1%. Minpoike sitting in a full Cyclone with 0% mana. Acro, maybe he drops a Smoke Bomb desperately to try and save Fried Kitty. He stuns Raikou, he drops a Smoke Bomb. Waz gets a sap out of the Cyclone, and that should be game over. Waz desperately trying to reconnect Frost Nova at the moment. Fried Kitty doing everything he can to stall, but Minpoike gets poly 3 seconds away from his Iron Bark, 1 second away, but with no mana left, is it going to be enough? Iron Bark connects, Swift Mend, big heal. Fried Kitty manages to hold out, now looking to counter-attack, but Raikou's Temporal is absorbing all of his damage and going to heal it back. Fried Kitty now temporaling as well. It's a race against the clock to kill faster than its effect. Raikou being counterattacked as well. That changed my mind, even though they're backed into a corner, are baring their teeth.
Raikou with the Safeguard is going to be able to hold on to that ice block. They finally shred through it, but Fried Kitty still on the back foot. Either one of these mages could fall, but luckily for Raikou, he's got an ice block, so that feels good in that situation. Waz getting caught into a blind. Acro doing everything he can in a defensive posture to keep Fried Kitty alive. They realize they're in so much trouble. We're at 16% dampening. Minpoike's got no trinket. He trinkets out of blind. He's got no mana. He uses the Iron Bark, but that's really the only thing that's left. Raikou caught into a kitty shot, has changed my mind. Looked to try to get some counter aggression rolling, but there's just no damage under Raikou, whereas Fried Kitty, he's just so far behind. Chaz has more mana. He's got Innervate rolling. He's got Iron Bark. They got all the tools they need. Chaz moving in, looking for the game-winning crowd control. Minpoike denies it with a bash of his own. Now Minpoike actually manages to find the Cyclone. No, got blinded and interrupted. Fried Kitty falls. Nicely played by Method Black.
Yep, very clean game from Method Black.
Cooldown or even the game. The gates have opened, the pressure is on. Who can beat Method Black?
Will it be changed my mind? At this point, they kind of need to. They need to start getting as many points as they can. I mean, that's just been the story for every team that's not Method Black in the European scene. No one's safe at this point. Everyone needs to start accumulating as many points as they can. Minpoike now in a cheap shot, a very aggressive opener for Method Black. They're just gambling. Can they take down Minpoike right in the opener? They managed to get Barskin as well as the Iron Bark. Waz still all over Minpoike. Honestly, I can see Minpoike just falling down. If Raikou can get there, if they can get another stun, of course Minpoike does have his trinket, but this is still really dangerous. He's in the midfield. Raikou in position to finally start getting some damage rolling. Changed my mind. They need to start finding a target.
Changed my mind. Pick the aggressive map, but it's actually Method Black that are the aggressors. Immediately going after Minpoike. If he trinkets this, he's susceptible to blind. If he doesn't, he might die. But now he trinkets on top of his Gladiator Safeguard. So 2 defensives out of the way, and Method Black are relentless with this target selection. MLPal trying to escape, but it's hook point. Where are you going to escape? He wild charges to the water elemental, but Was is still connecting, still getting a lot of uptime. He's got a pre-Iron Bark, but if he's out of Bear, he might die in a kidney shot. He connects the Iron Bark, gets in Bear. Was gets dispelled at a Frost Nova. In hot pursuit to stun MLPal. Acro going to come back and support, switching to Was to protect MLPal, which he has done successfully. Smoke Bomb committed in that attempt. Unfortunately, Acro not finding any significant cooldowns with it.
Was forced to get off of the back of MLPal, and Chaz actually used a lot of mana in that situation. I'm not exactly sure how, but he's down 60% mana. MLPal has the lead. Was able to sort of run away, kite, dance circles, and he responded to that situation quite well. I have to say, MLPal did a good job. The one problem is MLPal doesn't have a trinket for the blind, and Acro's in a lot of trouble. If Was gets there, if he can land the full blind into a sap onto MLPal, I don't see how Acro's going to be able to survive, and I think certainly at this point, that is what MLPal wants to set up.
All right, let's see if they can do it here. MLPal have a game-winning condition if they can line up everything correctly. Was Vendetta available in 4 seconds. Likely we see MLPal waiting for that, for the perfect storm to find a kill onto Acro. Acro needs to be ready for it. How is he going to deal with it? MLPal anticipates crowd control, activating Iron Bark, reducing a lot of damage with this assault. And it may be just what he needed. Acro gets stunned during blind. Iron Bark is going to fade. If there's another follow-up, Acro is certainly going to die, but there isn't. He activates the evasion. He's got Gladiator Safeguard absorbing some hits. Although the Polymorph was able to be secured, evasion may not be enough as it will be ending shortly. Feint activated for Acro. In desperation, it needs to be enough damage reduction. It looks like with the Crimson Vial healing Acro back up, MLPal will survive the crowd control chain. Although now Acro cycloned at low health, buying a bit more time for MLPal to find the kill. Can they find it in that amount of time? Acro gets stunned up. No Iron Bark for 4. Big Swift Mend. Needs another heal, but Was interrupts it. Acro runs away, but how much further can he run? There's no space on hook point, and MLPal are going to take game 2 in 3 minutes.
I mean,
on hook point, and usually in other strategy games we see the team trying to create the most chaos on a small, close-quartered map to try and get an edge is because they know their opponent outskills them. That didn't work at all. Now they're going to Ashamane's Fall and looking to try and drag the fight out. But MLPal, they're going to have a lot of confidence, a lot of room to breathe. They're already 2 up in the series. I think that now makes them 13-1 for the entire season in terms of their win-loss against Change My Mind. Immediately targeting MLPal, and once again, getting the Gladiator's Medallion before the blind.
Yeah, and Acro used Cloak of Shadows and Vanish. Acro at this point is such an exposed target. All they need really is one good crowd control chain on him MLPal with the blind, with the sap. Does a bash follow up? Really anything. MLPal has found a game-winning position. Once again, this opener they've come up with Butch changed my mind in this situation where what can they really do? I feel like Acro has to be more patient with this Cloak of Shadows.
All right, MLPal bashed. Chaz casts Hibernate alongside Raikou to secure crowd control. Fried Kitty gets swapped to by MLPal, mixing it up. Acro anticipated himself as the target, but it's actually Fried Kitty in trouble. Ray of Frost going to get that Gladiator Safeguard from Fried Kitty. That shielded defense not going to be available for the next attack. Raikou cycloned up, changed my mind, trying to pause. Acro is held on to his Vendetta. Let's see where he decided to commit it. Now having got the Iron Bark out of the way, it would be likely that the next stun on Raikou will be a Vendetta to push for a block. There's the full blind. This is the big play by MLPal, but they're a bit behind in terms of momentum, so they're trying to find a footing before going forward, but they don't really have enough time to find it. They don't get enough damage to get a block. MLPal gets polymorphed. Big mistake.
Oh,
huge
no.
damage connects by Raikou. Fried Kitty up on Poly, and he's going to have to trade the Ice Block. They can't continue the crowd control, fortunately for MLPal, so he is going to be able to heal Fried Kitty up, but already behind 1 Ice Block.
Change My Mind is falling apart in this matchup. That's so uncharacteristic of MLPal to just get polymorphed like that. It was really obvious. I mean, he's right on top of Raikou in that spot, and as a result, Fried Kitty forced to use his first Ice Block. Now, Change My Mind, they're looking to get aggressive with a bit of a reversal damage onto Raikou. A nice interrupt sniped in there by Fried Kitty. Nicely done. Temporal Shield is going to be enough. Raikou holds on with the Iron Bark with the Temporal Shield and bounces back to safety. Nicely done. Good defensive maneuvering there by MLPal. They still have that Ice Block available. Was changing targets, getting the Garrote Silence onto MLPal off the back of that Vanish. Now a full Kitty shot. Smoke Bomb secured on Fried Kitty. Does Raikou have any burst? Doesn't look like it.
It's actually Raikou in a bit of trouble. Chaz Silence, no Iron Bark for 12. If Change My Mind can do enough damage here, they may be able to get a block, but they can't. Ice Barrier, Swift Mend, between Chaz and Raikou, going to save Raikou. Minpoike has his Glidier's Medallion again. I'm wondering if Waz makes a swap with Vendetta to bait Minpoike's Trinket and then try to get the second Ice Block with Blind again. Repeat that a third time and win the game, if that is their strategy. No, in this specific instance, they're going to be stunning Minpoike into a Cyclone, popping Vendetta on Fried Kitty. Regardless, they get the Gladiator's Medallion from Minpoike. Now when Blind is available, Fried Kitty likely will have to block. They're trying to counter pressure. If he doesn't even need to block right now, Minpoike gets counterspelled. Temporal going to be removed. But it is Chaz and a Polymorph. You would anticipate that Raikou would be taking a lot of damage while his healer is crowd controlled, but he just isn't. Raikou, a phenomenal mage in terms of defense. Most of the time, not even getting scratched. Finally, Iron Bark snuck in between the Cyclones by Chaz. Beautifully done, and allowing Raikou to hold on. Minpoike dodges the Polymorph in that Woundkin form, but there's the full blind. Minpoike pre-Iron Barked the blind. That's a sick play. That play may be the only thing that holds on to Fried Kitty's Ice Block.
Yeah, but there's a follow-up Polymorph. Raikou now in a Smoke Bomb. Kidney Shot. No, is he going to have to trade out the Ice Block? Fried Kitty low also. Which one of these mages is going to fall? Fried Kitty in a little bit of trouble. Trades out the Temporal Shield, just greeting it way too hard. That was a close call, but luckily Fried Kitty does manage to survive. Meanwhile, Raikou, he still has both his Ice Blocks. There hasn't been that much danger. I mean, change my mind. They've been doing a good job getting out pressure. Now the Vendetta is actually rolling. They might be able to get the Ice Block from Raikou with this full Kidney Shot and the Polymorph on Chaz. I like the way Raikou uses his Ice Blocks in these situations. He just doesn't fall behind, doesn't force Chaz to play catch-up. It's likely he's going to have to use his Ice Block anyways. He has no safeguard, so he just Ice Blocks. And that way, Chaz doesn't have to actually heal up all that health he lost. He can just immune the damage incoming anyways. It was the Vendetta, so I think that trade is one of those decisions that actually allows his team to stay ahead in a matchup like this, where Chaz can hold on to a lot of his precious mana, and that's what it ultimately can come down to in some situations.
Next Vendetta from Waz could end the game if they're not careful. Iron Bark's out of the way from Minpoike. He's sitting through a full Polymorph. Vendetta's going to come up mid-chain. Fried Kitty is trying to absorb the attack with Temporal Shield and hopefully bounce back. But as soon as that's over, there's a Vendetta with no defense. And Waz sees that opening. He's looking to close the series 3-0. Minpoike trinkets, but that may not even be enough. 2% of the dampening, bashed up for a second. Chaz Cyclones doesn't get it, gets denied. Now Raikou in a bit of trouble. Perfect reversal by Change My Mind. And right on death's door, they managed to pull off a counterattack, forcing an Ice Block from Raikou.
That was nicely done. I mean, look at Method Black. They have no Ice Block for a really long time. Fried Kitty's actually way ahead in this situation. Change My Mind. Can they take this game? Kidney Shot on Raikou. Cyclone on Chaz. They just need a bit more damage. Temporal Shield. Iron Bark rolls, but another Polymorph snuck in by Fried Kitty. Nicely done by Change My Mind. Like, interesting to me is I want to know how the war games between these two teams meet. I mean, maybe in war games, Change My Mind actually splits with Method Black, but it just seems like on broadcast, when it matters, Method Black always seems to come out ahead. And I mean, for Change My Mind, there's so much on the line right now. They're in 4th place in terms of points to make it to the summer season. They need to have a deep run in this tournament. They can reverse sweep Method Black. This is going to put them in such a prime position moving forward, moving into that final cup, and to actually qualify for LAN.
Oh, beautifully done by Method Black. They get the first crowd control chain. They cycle in the Temporal healing effect, netting them Iron Bark on top of its defense. 2 cooldowns out of the way. Minpoike now interrupted. Method Black trying to keep up the assault, looking to close this out here and now. Can they do it? Fried Kitty very low on health, but Gladiator Safeguard going to save him. Smoke Bomb gets dropped by Waz to try and persevere and keep going for the kill, but Raikou is being counterattacked. Acro certainly developing momentum for the team. Vendetta forcing that Iron Bark from Chaz. He stabilizes, but now no Iron Bark for Fried Kitty if Waz can connect, but he's currently polymorphed. Raikou is currently cycloned, also cycloned at low health. And Minpoike jumps in to try and crowd control, but gets crowd controlled himself. Big mistake. Now let's see if Method Black can capitalize.
Fried Kitty in a prime position, though. This game isn't going bad for Change My Mind whatsoever. Minpoike got caught into a full polymorph, but Fried Kitty took 0 damage. He had really good positioning, good peels coming in from Acro. Now, finally, Waz manages to find the full Kidney Shot, but without crowd control on Minpoike, I can't help but feel like he's going to be able to heal through this quite nicely. Finally, Chaz lands the Cyclone. Now, Fried Kitty, he doesn't have Temporal Shield, he doesn't have Gladiator Safeguard. If they have the damage, this could quite easily be an Ice Block. Fried Kitty is managing to hold on, and this is not bad for Change My Mind. Have they found their rhythm in the matchup? It really is a question.
Raikou cycloned at low health. See if Change My Mind can get anything on Chaz. He's currently in stealth. very far away, so not going to be able to get it crowd controlled whatsoever. MLPal gets vortexed on his wild charge. MLPal being the aggressor now, despite being on match point, changed my mind, are keeping things spicy here for Method Black. They have a mana lead. Not so much a cooldown lead in any regard. Still quite even here, 2 minutes in. Acro polymorphed away. Raikou now stunned up. MLPal jumps in. Good cross stun. Waz is Frost Nova. He can't support. It's 3-on-1. Raikou's been in that situation time and time again. Blinking out of line of sight of Fried Kitty with Temporal rolling. Absorbing all that damage and healing it back up. Fried Kitty can't connect, and now Raikou wraps right back to his Druid as the crowd control ends so that he can easily recover. Now that Raikou has dealt with that attack, it's Fried Kitty who needs to do the same.
Yeah, and can he do it really is the question. There is a Ring of Frost on MLPal. Fried Kitty's getting really low. Dancing with death in this situation. Garrote Silence comes in from Waz. Do they have the follow-up damage to really force Fried Kitty into that first ice block? An interrupt snuck in there by Raikou, but Fried Kitty with the Gladiator safeguard might actually be able to survive and reverse the pressure onto Raikou. Unbelievable. Full blind now on MLPal. Fried Kitty still. Don't greet it. Don't greet it. He's getting low. This is dangerous territory. Chaz manages to find the Cyclone onto Fried Kitty, and that is a fair exchange by Fried Kitty, but that was a little bit too close for comfort for me.
Most evenly fought match so far between Change My Mind and Method Black right now. It's coming down to the wire. Both Druids using Ursul's Vortex to try and stall their pursuits, but Chaz is able to Iron Bark preemptively before the bash, reading the situation very well. That's going to make Raikou quite durable, and he is also taking control of Acro, so only one member of the team able to connect any damage. With Iron Bark active, it's not even going to be that much damage. Now it's Change My Mind who are in crowd control. It's a race to get the block before the Temporal Shield goes off, but they're not able to win that race. Instead, they're looking to just lap the Temporal Shield and try and get it anyway. Fried Kitty below half health, and MLPal is still cycloned. Further cyclones incoming. Waz looking to connect. Big and Venom. Can they recover? Iron Bark at low health. Smoke bomb from Waz. He blinks out. And MLPal looking for a regrowth. No counterspell. Should be able to get it. Shouldn't be too difficult to stabilize Fried Kitty here with Iron Bark, but now with Waz in the Cyclone and Raikou stunned, certainly Change My Mind going to go back to full health. Now they need to crowd control Chaz. MLPal stuns him, but once again, Chaz reads that stun and Iron Barks Raikou prior to it. Change My Mind disrupt some of the follow-up, but ultimately MLPal does secure the Cyclone. I don't think they're really going to dent Raikou through the Iron Bark, unfortunately, although it's still 3 versus 1. Acro on target. What are you going to do, Raikou?
I mean, we're going to have to see. He does manage to get out of line of sight once again. He dropped a defensive Frozen Orb. Actually, it was Fried Kitty's Frozen Orb, and this could be the second ice block. Good plays by Change My Mind. I feel like Raikou got a little bit too far away from Chaz in that situation. If he had just been in line of sight, maybe Chaz could have kept him alive. Gladiator Safeguard procs overlapped with the the Ice Barrier. He gets interrupted. Raikou's in so much trouble. Change My Mind. How are they going to be able to do it? The Gladiator Safeguard finally does proc. Watch the defensive blind. We haven't seen him have to use a defensive blind like this in quite some time. Raikou gets topped off. Fried Kitty trades out his ice block, and now it's even for both these teams. I mean, both Druids don't have a trinket. Both mages don't have ice blocks for another 4 minutes. Anything could happen.
The only advantage is that Chaz still has Iron Bark, which could be enough defense for Method Black to push forward and finish Fried Kitty. And Change My Mind, pull it off. This is one of the closest fights we've seen between these two Rogue Mage Druid Titans of the European region as they battle for Rogue Mage dominance. Who is the greatest Rogue Mage of Europe? Change My Mind are looking to make a stand here. They were on match point, but they're battling back with confidence. Raikou in trouble, temporaling on very low health. A bit of a race here towards the end as Fried Kitty is in trouble as well. Ice Barrier going to absorb there. Raikou is isolated. It's 3 versus 1. Raikou is pinned down, and Fried Kitty is
They're going to do it!
Huge amount of frost bolts, and Change My Mind take Method Black to match point.
No way.
Pioneer. What did I say?
All right, guys. Well, we're in Game 5 here between Method Black and Change My Mind. They put on quite a show for us here today. I can't wait to see who comes out on top here.
Here we go. Raikou, Fried Kitty going to be taking center stage, casting frost bolts and generating icicles while the rogues hunt for the druids. Which rogue is going to get the first attack? It's match point. Unbelievable to see Method Black stressed this much. We have not seen them in the lower bracket this early on in some time, and changed my mind. Look to be getting a decent exchange early on. Temporal Shield out of the way. Minpoike is able to sit blind, but maybe not sap. Method Black are trying to punish this decision from Minpoike to sit through it. Now Blind going to come back off cooldown a little bit sooner than his Trinket. It could be a big opening.
Definitely could be, but I don't mind that Minpoike forced Waz to commit his Vanish as well as the Vendetta. Now Raiku's the one that's in a little bit of trouble. Icy Veins rolling for Fried Kitty. Is there crowd control on Chaz? Minpoike moves in, manages to find the bash. Ring of Frost gets traded out there by Fried Kitty, or by Raikou. Unfortunately not able to find it. Now Garrote Silence on Chaz with the counter bash over on Minpoike. Good denial by both teams in that exchange. They both set up, but both of them weren't able to find crowd control on the Restoration Druid due to solid interrupts and solid defense from all players in the map.
All right. Mana slightly in favor of Method Black. Definitely something to take into account as we saw game 1 go in favor of Method Black due to mana issues on Minpoike's side. Vendetta is rolling for Acro. He's trying to get some momentum, but they're not even getting an Ironbark. Now Chaz going to respect it. Counter attack on Fried Kitty. Smoke Bomb committed by Waz. I mean, Temporal was already going to go off and heal him. That Smoke Bomb not going to get too much value. Chaz Trinket's blind with no Vendetta available. More than safe for him to make that trade. I'm waiting for the Glider's Medallion of Minpoike when it's at roughly, I think, around 15, maybe the 8 to 15 second range. That's when he can be blinded with no way to remove it. One Ice Block out of the way with just clean setup from Raikou, taking both Minpoike and Acro out of the game by himself. Potentially taking the entire series here as Minpoike is still crowd controlled and Ice Block fades.
Yeah, Fried Kitty still in a little bit of trouble. Counter kidney shot on Raikou, but Fried Kitty still not topped off. Bash on Chaz into a Ring of Frost potentially, but no, an interrupt snuck in there by Raikou. Raiku's been doing a really good job with his interrupts in this match, making sure he can deny Fried Kitty on those Ring of Frosts. It's unfortunate for Fried Kitty, but it's good denial by Raikou, and that allows Method Black a lot of breathing room in the match. Now Waz trying to set up. Kitty shot onto Fried Kitty. Polymorph on Minpoike. Cyclone on Acro. Triple crowd control. What are they going to be able to get done? Fried Kitty, Temporal Shield is rolling. Do they have the damage? That pops. Minpoike in a full blind. This is certainly the second Ice Block. Fried Kitty doesn't want to have to greet it. Ice Block overlapped with the Iron Bark, and those full blinds with no Trinket are huge. Like you said, Sid, I mean, the fact that he got that full blind, Minpoike having no Trinket, forced Fried Kitty to use the second Ice Block. Now Method Black, they're in a commanding lead. Whatever Method Black did while they were waiting to lock in their composition, it's certainly paying off. Up 2 Ice Blocks, up a Glider's Medallion, up the entire series likely here as Fried Kitty is hovering on very low health. Where's the Cyclone? They don't get the crowd control. Acro stops it. Minpoike looks to reverse. They're just cycloning Raikou. Chaz now able to escape. Fried Kitty still being pressured. Minpoike is able to recover finally. Waz now stunned. Changed my mind. They're desperate. They're switching targets. They see that line as a faster route to victory. Waz with no evasion and no Cloak of Shadows, or a mage that has 2 Ice Blocks. I think that the answer to that question is pretty clear. Change my mind are now going to have to be committed to Waz. And does that mean that Fried Kitty will be under more pressure? He's currently stunned up, and Poike is spending a huge amount of mana to heal through this, and I think that is going to be the problem. Fried Kitty cycloned on Ironbark's defense, and Poike going to expend even further mana to recover. Yeah, but Waz has got no cloak, no vanish, no evasion for another 40 seconds, so he is kind of a vulnerable target. If they can get crowd control over onto Chaz, they might be able to take him down. Acro has Vendetta rolling. Waz could be in some trouble. Kidney shot onto Fried Kitty. Polymorph onto Acro. Good control coming in from Method Black. Cyclone onto Fried Kitty also. They didn't have crowd control. Minpoike finally a polymorph, or sorry, an interrupt was stuck in by Raikou. Now Fried Kitty could be in some trouble. Minpoike, he has no heal over time effects on Fried Kitty. Oh. He's getting bursted down. Massive damage. Acro trying to peel by going after Waz, but still, it's just Fried Kitty on the back foot. Yeah, Fried Kitty on the back foot. A cat backed into a corner. How can they pull off victory? They're still trying to kill Waz. They don't find enough damage. Minpoike is now interrupted. Acro's in a poly. Chaz gets follow-up. Fried Kitty is isolated for so long. Minpoike has to trinket, but he trinkets before blind. He trinkets into the full blind, but it was already active with Ironbark. I think Waz could have been more patient. Maybe it doesn't matter. Can they get anything out of the blind? No follow-up. Minpoike is going to get away with it. I think Waz was a bit over-eager to get the kill there. Minpoike, I guess, anticipated that over-eagerness, though, in Ironbark before getting blinded. But look at the mana. Minpoike has absolutely none. He has to run across the battlefield and sit down for a drink. Change my mind, we're trying to kill the healer while he does that. Risky maneuver, but potentially they just win the game while Minpoike's drinking. They get the Gladiator Safeguard and Bark Skin, but they don't get any mana on Minpoike, and how is he going to heal Fried Kitty throughout this? That's a really good question. With no mana, it's going to be really difficult. Chaz could still be in a little bit of trouble. He's got no safeguard, no bark skin. Perhaps we see Change My Mind continue the assault onto Chaz. Pinpoike might try to sneak away for a drink. He's been able to recover just the smallest sliver of mana to keep his team afloat. Fried Kitty and Acro have been doing a really good job avoiding damage at this point, but Pinpoike has just not found an opportunity to recover his mana whatsoever. This is a disaster situation for Change My Mind. Fried Kitty with no ice blocks, Pinpoike with no mana, trades out the Iron Bark to try to keep him alive, try to just avoid as much damage as he can, but he's just sitting there. He's just standing still. He doesn't have any mana. Chaz moving into a position to try to take him down, but Method Black, they're going to shut down this reverse sweep potentially. I mean, Fried Kitty, I don't know how he could possibly live. Acro and Fried Kitty trying to go after Chaz. The Frozen Orb completely whiffed there by Fried Kitty, getting nothing done, and I think that's going to be the final nail in the coffin. I just don't know how Change My Mind can recover this situation.
Oh man, a smoke bomb by Waz. Fried Kitty blinks out in desperation to stay alive, but they have so many more cooldowns to work with. They've got no mana and no cooldowns, and actually at 10 seconds. 10 seconds for Fried Kitty. He's so low on health, 8 seconds. No, he can't hold on. Method Black are going to close out the series 3-2 and remain down.
Easy time to set up these long extended periods of crowd control because they have a rogue that, you know, has that lockdown compared to a warrior. So we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, we'll have to see if there's any fans of the Smorking Warriors. Do let us know. Blizzo has been a legend on that warrior throughout the years. Now looking to honestly, just defy this Rogue Mage Godly Mirror we have right now. Rogue Mage is dominant completely in the European region. Wildcard Gaming have been the outlier in the past, as have nLite. Those are our chances, really, to have a non-Rogue Mage final. Wildcard Gaming with Blizzo coming in on the warrior. Will he be able to do it here, Van?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I feel like no, but I don't want to count Blizzo out. Playing the Gnome Arms Warrior right now, that's going to give him a lot of capability to sort of defend himself from all the snares, all the roots. Unfortunately for Blizzo is he doesn't have Kidney Shot. I mean, that's the main advantage the Rogue Mage Druid has. There are some advantages for the Warrior, but at the end of the day, that Kidney Shot, the 6-second stun that Nixie's able to put consistently on Morrow in the match, not only slows down his damage, slows down his control, and allows a big moment of opportunity for Diabolus to really get aggressive. Blizzo, though, has been doing a lot of damage over onto Alec. Alec does manage to sneak away. Good kiting from him once again in the match. Looney and Asgroth, I think, are both playing the Balance Affinity in this matchup, so they're going to be able to defend themselves from polymorphs. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get aggressive like a Feral Affinity, but I still think it's a really good choice. Allows them to get out more Cyclones, as well as immune polymorphs, and I think it's just strong overall.
Let's see if Blizzo can do it here. Asgrath in a Cyclone. Alec could be in trouble. Blizzo on target. Big damage. Potentially an ice block. They get the full polymorph. It's going to be an ice block. Very surprising. Wildcard Gaming in the lead initially against Diabolus. And I'm wondering if they can keep their momentum. I feel like this is the most success we've seen them have against Rogue Mage. Now only 2 minutes in. Alec on hypothermia, still being chased down. Blizzo trinketing to get the kill, stunning Alec. Asgrath needs to be careful. Now in an intimidating shout, but Morrow is low on health as well. Looney in a polymorph. An ice block has to be traded out from Morrow. Game 1 evens out.
Yep, Alec not using his cold snap just yet. Morrow trades out his. It'll be interesting to see how those rotate a little bit later on. Looney's doing quite well on man. He's actually a little bit ahead, but at this point in the game, both Druids doing quite well. There's been good pressure for both teams. Blizzo finally getting controlled up just a little bit. Nixie does have his smoke bomb, so the next Kidney Shot on Morrow if he decides to drop it, and there it is. Kidney Shot on Morrow. Looney manages to find a Cyclone on Alec. That was really nicely done. I mean, think about the situation Looney's in. There's a smoke bomb dropped over onto Morrow. What can he do? He can't really heal up Morrow, so instead he goes for the control on Alec, denying any sort of damage. That way, the heals he has on Morrow will be able to easily heal through the amount of damage Nixie's able to put out. So, good heads-up play there by Mr. Looney. Nixie caught into a root. Good control once again, and Morrow and Looney, this is exactly what you want to be doing. Both mages, you can see, they're positioning themselves on the field where their Druids can help them out with crowd control. So if Morrow runs back to Looney, all of a sudden Looney can land an Entangling Roots, land a Cyclone on a Nixie, and vice versa. If Alec's in trouble, he can bait Blizzo into the open where Asgroth can really start controlling him up. Those are actually taking quite a bit of damage in that exchange. And I have to say, I think the Arms Warrior is also a better target to swap to, especially if the game goes later on into dampening, 20, 25, 30% dampening. I think that's when we really see Blizzo become an exposed target for Diabolus.
I should have been surprised they're not targeting him initially. Asgrath trying to stabilize Alec. Looney trying to stabilize Maro. Pressure back and forth. Certainly evenly fought between these two teams in game one. Was anticipating the Warrior Mage Druid to get rolled over, but certainly they are fighting back. No Ironbark for 30. If Blizzo can stay on target, he's going to Stormbolt Asgarath. Try to get a Ring of Frost off the Stormbolt. That could be the one advantage of the Warriors, that the stun is ranged, so they can use it to set up crowd control, but that means they have to use it aggressively. That is not something that we really know Wildcard Gaming for, is their aggression. We more know them for their ability to deny kills and extend the match. So Wildcard Gaming are going to certainly have to move out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean, at this point you can see Looney's traded out his Trinket. He is susceptible to crowd control. If Nixie can find a stun for him, and Alec can follow that up, it is going to be a good situation that Diabolus find themselves in. Interrupt over on a Looney with a Polymorph onto Blizzo. Good control from Diabolus. Alec moving forward, managed to land the full Ring of Frost. Big damage onto Maro. As he kites behind the pillar, trying to get closer to his healer and try to deny any follow-up crowd control. Nixie with an immediate kick, interrupting Maro on Arcane. He's not going to be able to use any sort of polymorphs. Nixie actually potentially even going for a re-stealth in this situation. If he can find it, he can land the Garrote Silence, but that gets denied by Maro. Really good control from both of the mages in this matchup.
All right, let's see if Wildcard Gaming can pull this off. They've managed to make it into dampening in a fairly stable condition, but Alec's Ice Block is going to be available in 19 seconds. They need to try and get through this cold snap as soon as possible. Potentially they could get it here. Alec very low on health and interrupted. Asgrass Cyclone unable to heal. Perfect crowd control by Looney. Alec retreating away. Blizzo can't connect, and Alec looks like he's going to be stabilizing to have 2 Ice Blocks in dampening. Mana even between the teams. Slight lead for Diabolus here in terms of Ice Blocks, but aside from that, still evenly fought.
Yep. And Asgaroth does get interrupted on that crowd control onto Looney. Good interrupt there by Maro. Stormbolt now onto Asgaroth. Is there going to be any crowd control? No, there's not. And I just don't know in this matchup who actually starts winning and dampening. I mean, the Arms Warrior has such good, consistent damage. He has the Sharpened Blade, which is going to further reduce healing. Alec actually getting bursted down quite heavily right now. Forced into that second Ice Block. Is he going to use the Cold Snap? I really feel like he should. He has the Icy Veins. Maro in a good situation also. He will certainly have access to his 3rd Ice Block in this matchup. Dampening is rampanting at this point, and we have, at 10%, these Druids are going to start to struggle. You can see that it is taxing their mana. Both Druids at around 45% mana at this point in the game. I think trying to sneak away, get out of combat, recovering that mana by drinking is definitely going to be important.
All right, let's see which Druid can set up a drink for the late game. So far, neither one is really looking for that opportunity just yet. Both hammering down on their crowd control rather than the late game plays. Temporal Shield traded on both sides. Maro's is over now, and he's very low on health. He'd love to just be able to wait a little bit longer. Ironbark is going to allow him to do that. Asgrath now likely needs to think about committing his Ironbark. He's getting chopped up a bit, taking a bit of damage. Stunned by Looney. Interesting, Asgrath potentially a target for Wildcard Gaming. In the Ring of Frost now, but Maro can't attack. He's polymorphed. Blizzo actually using his Trinket aggressively to push for this Ice Block. The Warrior Mage Druid is certainly looking the best that we've seen from Wildcard Gaming. Perhaps it's enough to win here against the Rogue Mage Druid, but even if it is, I mean, they can just change their comp. I'm sure that there's a lot of comps, if it isn't just Rogue Mage, that can own the Warrior Mage Druid.
Yeah, and we'll see. Blizzo still he's been having such good uptime on Alec, and I really feel like that Gnome Racial is being utilized quite well by Blizzo. There's so many ways to get out of roots, get out of snares, the Avatar, as well as the Escape Artist and the Blade Storm. And it really allows him high uptime on Alec, and that's why we've seen such consistent damage in this match. And maybe Wildcard Gaming, with just a cleaner version of the Warrior Mage Druid, has found a solid answer for Rogue Mage Druid. I don't think this is a matchup I really think they should be winning, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe they're going to prove us all wrong here this weekend with this composition. We'll have to see. Looney gets bashed up. Alec looking for a Ring of Frost. He finds it on the Looney. Maro with good denial, just spamming Polymorph on Alec, interrupting him. Polymorph on Nixie. Blizzo's going to be completely fine, and maybe this is the point in the game where now Blizzo is such an exposed target on that Arms Warrior. He's just getting bursted down. Is he just going to fall over instantly? Die by the Sword trades out every single defensive cooldown. Blizzo's in a lot of trouble.
Oh, Blizzo killed the Water Elemental so he could get Victory Rush, which he can use now to heal himself, even though he's low on health. He's going to connect on Alec, get that Victory Rush heal, go for a Sharpened Blade, and try and press the issue, but then Cyclone, unfortunately 1 second away from hitting that Temporal's healing effect. Blizzo's damage is going to be reduced here. He needs to save that Avatar, both defensively to get the Absorb effect from the Azerite traits, as well as to break Root. So he gets the double value there, but Ursa's Vortex pulls him away. Now he has to charge. Alec likely to blink while Blizzo is stuck in a Frost Nova proc by the Blizzard. Now into a Polymorph. This is unfortunate. Blizzo's going to be out of the fight for some time. Maro is isolated. We see them making a push. Temporal activates for Maro. It's absorbing a lot of damage, and he's avoiding Nixie quite effectively, buying time for it to go off. Looney in a stun, though. Oh, on diminishing return, they barely get the Cyclone. Alec trying to sneak a Polymorph in. Looney dodges it in Moonkin form and then looks for a Cyclone on Asgarath. They get the Ring of Frost instead. Alec now on defense, taking huge chunks of damage. Has to trade the second Ice Block in respect. Wildcard Gaming with a 2-block lead. Now Blizzo is likely the main point of contention for Alec as the target. I think they have to abandon Maro.
I mean, Maro, looking at me, has both of his Ice Blocks. They have to force out both Ice Blocks, and Alec has to manage to survive with none. This is not the situation you want to find yourself in as Diabolus. Stun now onto Asgarath. Alec could be in a little bit of trouble. He's trying to kite away, just dragging Blizzo so far away from Looney. Look at it. He's in the starting zone at this point in the game, just keeping Blizzo in roots, in those Frost Novas, in the Blizzard snares, just trying to avoid damage at all costs. He realized his team is in a very difficult situation. He doesn't have an Ice Block for another 55 seconds. He has to hold on. He has to try to stall at all costs, but Blizzo is not making it easy. He's all over him. Kidney shot on Maro, but it's Alec that's in trouble. He has to Trinket Temporal Shield. Asgroth trades out the Iron Bark. Those are all the last defensive cooldowns Diabolus really have. And now Alec, he's going to be so vulnerable moving forward.
Yep. Diabolus in a lot of trouble here, dampening at 36% and continuing to rise. The only advantage, though, is that Looney is out of mana as well, so if they can secure a huge amount of burst, they could swing it back in their favor. Blizzo activating basically every aggressive cooldown to finish the game. Asgarath is in a stun and likely going to be followed up by a Cyclone. Trinkets into what? They don't have anything. Now Looney in crowd control, but Alec is the one still on the ropes. Asgarath gets counterspelled, and I can't believe it, but the Warrior Mage Druid is looking like it's going to be able to work.
Oh,
Blizzard needs to connect for 1 more second.
4 seconds! Iron Bark! Asgarath!
Oh, 1 second away. If Blizzo didn't trinket to navigate as a melee DPS player against a Frost Mage, of course, it will also be difficult for Nixie. I love the build Blizzo's running with the Vision of Perfection, granting him access to Bladestorm periodically throughout the fight. Blizzo is also just using his toolkit more aggressively. He's pushing himself out of his comfort zone. We normally know Blizzo is kind of like the goalie. He's always just blocking every single attack that the other team tries to make on his net, but this time around, he has to be the striker. He has to be up in their face and securing crowd control. Did a great job in game number 1. But when you are being that aggressive, certainly the other team can look to punish.
Alec moves forward, lands the Ring of Frost. Let's see what damage they can really get rolling. Blizzo moves forward with the Blade Storm, with the Storm Bolt, looking to deny Alec. Unfortunately, not able to find it. Alec now doing a really good job dancing around that Ring of Frost. Maro could be in some trouble, but he's got good crowd control. Now back on line of sight of Looney's can get easily topped off. The last game, I think, ended between 30 and 40% dampening. So it could take a little while for these teams to get things rolling. It's sort of like it's a chess match, almost in a way. At the beginning stages of the match, they're moving their pieces into the proper position. I don't know much about chess. I should probably stop talking about it, but it's just one of those things where...
smirking.
Yeah, Adrian knows a lot about it. He's probably like, what is this guy talking about right now? But it's a lot about cooldown trading early on. You want to get the Temporal Shield out of the way, the Iron Bark out of the way. That's when you strike and try to get the Ice Block. Okay, you've eliminated Ice Block. That puts you in a better position moving forward. All right, got to do it again. Iron Bark, Temporal Shield. Maybe we can get the Cold Snap. Okay, we got the Cold Snap. Safeguard proc. Now it's time to get another Ice Block, and you want to put yourself in this situation where you've rotated through all of these defensive cooldowns when dampening hits, and that's when you can start getting really, really aggressive with your consistent damage and try to close out the game.
All right, let's see if Maro can hold on here. Temporal worked out of the way. Looney's in a Cyclone. This could be an Ice Block for Diabolus if they can keep pushing forward. Cyclone is now finished. It's very low on health. Maro cycloned. Can they get the polymorph? Looney's in balance form. Unlikely. Has Iron Bark still available. Maro blinks back defensively with Looney so that he can avoid being interrupted, and does manage to stabilize despite that situation being rather terrifying.
Blizzo still trying to get some work done over on Alec. Nixie actually making an attempt. This is what we want to see from a Diabolus. Can they go after Blizzo? Can they take him down? That really is going to be the question in the matchup, and it seems really difficult to do so. I mean, I feel like the Warrior, if he gets caught in battle stance, that's when you can go after him, but if he's in D stance, it's really difficult to train him down. I think we have to see Diabolus go after Blizzo, get him in these stun locks, and try to capitalize on situations where he is in battle stance. And if they can do that, that's when they can really get the pressure rolling, tax Looney's mana, and potentially even take Blizzo down.
Alec isolated, trying to hold on to the Ice Block. His Temporal Shield will be going off, bouncing him back into the fight. His healer's still crowd controlled though. Ice Barrier going to absorb a hit. Frost Nova, Blizzo breaks that with the Escape Artist, looking to stay on target. Nixie trying to get back to Maro. Polymorphed away for a moment, then dispelled into a Frost Nova. Both mages taking good control of the respective melee players on each opposing side. No significant mana advantage. No significant Ice Block advantage. They're definitely looking evenly matched here in Game 2. Frozen Orb down for Maro. This is where we would anticipate a huge amount of damage, but Asgarath saw it coming and had Iron Bark active prior to all of its burst.
Yep. Now without the Iron Bark, this is when they want to try to get that burst damage rolling. Alec getting pressure down right now quite a bit in a decent situation where he has Blizzo nice and controlled up. Gladiator's Maledict going to be committed by Blizzo as he leaps over, lands a Stormbolt with a pummel on Asgarath. Very nicely done. Blizzo, those were good, smooth moves, but unfortunately doesn't really net him an Ice Block. Asgarath in a prime position without really too much crowd control on him where he can heal through the damage. If we look at mana, Looney has the lead. He has Innervate rolling. This is looking good for Wildcard Gaming once again.
Diabolus in an awkward position with their healer Cyclone. Alec gonna Temporal Shield, absorbing a lot of the damage. Blizzo staying on target with that Blade Storm. Temporal gonna bounce him back for a moment. Asgarath jumping over to connect Iron Bark. Blizzo gets stunned behind the pillar. They're looking to try and punish the aggression of Blizzo, but Looney is gonna use Iron Bark and stabilize. Good attempt by Nixie to try and punish Blizzo in that moment, but unfortunately unable to net any significant cooldowns on the exchange. Asgarath now in a Ring of Frost. Alec still the target, but utilizing Tolvaron effectively to avoid Blizzo. Maro polymorphed away, and Alec has bought enough time for Asgarath to leave crowd control.
Asgarath with the Innervate, going to be looking to play catch-up in this situation. Can he get the heals rolling onto Alec? Alec in a prime position. Blizzo with his Spell Reflect, able to deny the follow-up Polymorph. Looney looking for crowd control. Asgarath gets out of line of sight, dips away, and gets the Cyclone. Maro and Nixie now both caught into a Cyclone. Now it's Blizzo and Alec doing damage. Alec still trying to get the control rolling in the match. And curious to see damage done. And if we just look at the damage meters right now, I know obviously you guys can't see them, but Blizzo is doing massive amounts of damage. She's at around 4 million damage in the game. The next highest is Nixie at 2.5. So this is where the pressure of the Arms Warrior really starts adding up in this matchup. You can tell it's taxing Asgarath's mana, and this is really surprising coming in from Wildcard Gaming. They're lacking control with the Arms Warrior, but the amount of damage they're able to put out, if they can hold on later on in the game, that pressure really starts adding up.
5% dampening and counting. Ice Block still even at this point. Mana, I'd say slightly in favor of Wildcard Gaming, but currently we see Alex securing crowd control. This could be an opportunity to attack. Blizzo stalls it, landing a double Intimidating Shout. Into crowd control follow-up from Maro. Certainly the coordination of the team of Wildcard Gaming has improved dramatically since the last time we saw them running this composition. Potentially could be their answer to the Rogue Mage Druid composition. And if it does manage to work, I'm wondering if we see the Rogue Mage Druid switching their compositions, what would you play? I mean, if they end up losing, is there another comp that you would be willing to play, Van?
Into a Warrior Mage Druid?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are answers, but I just don't feel like the Rogue Mage should really lose. And Wildcard Gaming, although they're doing well, they did win a game. This is a composition they've run before, and they've lost with many times. So unless they made drastic improvements, I could just easily see Diabolus walking away with the series still. Wildcard Gaming, obviously going to be looking to prove me wrong, prove us all wrong that this Warrior Mage Druid really can work, but yet to really be convinced of that at this point. Ring of Frost on Azgrath into a polymorph. Now Alec forced to run away once again. He's trying to get away. He's into his first ice block, so that's what we're kind of talking about. You get the ice block out of the way, you get the temporal shield out of the way, you get Iron Bark out of the way, and now Wildcard Gaming, if they can keep with this momentum, if they can keep the damage rolling on Alec, they can get Cold Snap. This is such a prime position for them to be in.
Yeah, it's a prime position indeed. 7.5 minutes in, 15% dampening. Looney in a Cyclone. Morrow trading Temporal, absorbing all of the attacks, and should be stabilizing as a result. Azgrath interrupted. Wildcard Gaming trying to counter pressure, push for the final ice block. Azgrath blocks with Iron Bark, but at 17% dampening, it may not be enough. Gladiator Safeguard now triggered. Temporal going to go off. Ice Barrier buying a moment of time. Alec trying to control Blizzo, but on polymorph, diminishing return. Big mistake here from Alec. Blizzo's going to get a lot of uptime. Azgrath's in a Cyclone, and this could be the second, and it will be the second ice block from Alec. Wildcard Gaming are snowballing game 2 out of control.
Yeah, lots of damage. I mean, look at Alec. He's got no ice blocks. This is a repeat of the last game. Also, Morrow ended the game with both of his ice blocks. Alec had none. And things are looking better and better for Wildcard Gaming in the situation. We're at 21% dampening. 8 minutes, 23 seconds elapsed in the game. Now they're going after Blizzo. This is what happens, though. You can go after the Arms Warrior. He doesn't have the same amount of self-healing as Nixie. Doesn't have the same amount of defensive cooldowns. Luckily for Blizzo, he has defensive stance. So if he can stay and maintain high hit points, he doesn't get caught in battle stance, that's when things are looking good for the Arms Warrior. Blizzo charges forward. He's looking to close out the game. He wants to take down Alec. Alec has the Icy Veins, and Blizzo has no Trinket. There is a huge opportunity here for Diabolus if they can find it, if they can get the crowd control rolling on Looney. Here it is, Kidney Shot with an interrupt bash over on the Looney. Do they have the damage? Alec pulls the trigger on Icy Veins. They're trying to take Blizzo down. He's 50% health as he charges into the midfield.
All right, Blizzo, what are you going to do? This is a very dangerous map as a warrior to stay alive, but he's got to stay aggressive if he wants to be able to net the series for his team. Fortunately, though, because they took game 1, they can go to the smaller maps on their map pick. This is a series that I anticipate will be going all the way to a game number 5 unless Blizzo can pull off a miracle and find victory here. Looney, he sat down for a drink. He got full mana. That's certainly something of significance for Wildcard Gaming in their own favor. But now Azgrath, I think he is looking to do the same. Blizzo's mounted up. He's charging across midfield. They frozen Orb Azgrath. He doesn't get nearly as much mana as Looney. Big lead now for Wildcard Gaming. No blocks remain for Alec, and I can't believe that they're making the Warrior Mage Druid work here. We were saying Rogue Mage Druid is undefeatable, but Blizzo on this Warrior with a playstyle change and some coordination improvements from the team of Wildcard Gaming are making it look like the Warrior Mage Druid could best it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's looking so good for Wildcard Gaming. Look at Alec. He's still minutes away from ice blocks. In the last game, he died with just 1 second left on his cold snap, maybe even half a second left on that cold snap when he finally did go down. So, fortunate timing for Wildcard Gaming. 33% dampening, and this is the true test to me. I mean, at the later stages of the game, at 30-40% dampening, do Wildcard Gaming still have that massive lead? I mean, look at Azgrath. He's got no Trinket. He trades out the Iron Bark, the Temporal Shield. All the pieces are in place for Wildcard Gaming right now. They just have to get into that final position where they can take Alec down. They just need to find a little bit more damage. One more crowd control chain onto Azgrath. And if they can do that, they will close out the game. There's the full fear. Morrow moving forward. Alec in a lot of trouble, Sid.
Sharpened Blade Avatar, big damage from our boy Blizzo. Can he close it out here? Can he defeat the Rogue Mage Druid on that Arms Warrior? They deny it. They now reverse the crowd control. Looney in a Ring of Frost. Morrow isolated. This is the opportunity that they were looking for to get an ice block. Can they get it from Morrow? They're so close, but they're not finding it. Now Azgrath counterspelled. Alec could be in trouble. They have to blind Blizzo. They have to remove the Warrior. Now that blind not available for Looney. If I'm Wildcard Gaming right now, I'm sitting pretty.
I mean, you really can't be in a better position. They're winning on mana, they're winning on cooldowns, they're winning on pressure. They're just winning this game. They're up 1-0 in this series. Is this the composition? Is this what they needed to do to beat Rogue Mage Druid? It's looking good. The Warrior Mage, I mean, if you have an Arms Warrior as good as Blizzo, I guess with the Gnome racial as well, it just allows you so much uptime. But still, Blizzo's really susceptible to these swaps. They get all in him. It's 42% dampening. Looney's really going to struggle to heal through this. It's an Iron Bark. One Maledict lands. Blizzo's still not getting topped off. Looney really struggling. He's throwing out the regrowth over and over and over. Blizzo forced to run away. He can't go after Alec anymore in the match. Nixie, he has the evasion, he has the feint. Blizzo changing his focus now over onto Nixie, but he's in a full kidney shot. Looney still, he's just been burning through his mana. There was such a nice lead for Diabolus, but now the lead has been lost, essentially. I mean, Looney's just barely ahead. He's had to use so much mana to keep Blizzo alive.
I think Nixie is now the target for Wildcard Gaming. Alec has a block and another one in 30. I don't know if they can afford that amount of time chasing him around the map, instead going after Nixie, which is going to make this game accelerate, because then Nixie isn't being kited either. He's attacking the Warrior. Damage is going to be maximized here at 47% dampening. Mana has evened out, if anything, slightly in favor of Askerath. This is not looking good for Wildcard Gaming. It felt like they were in control for most of this fight, but now it looks like they're desperate. Lobbing out damage onto Askerath, tossing out damage onto Nixie, onto anybody in front of them to try and create pressure and find a moment of opportunity to close game number 2 out. But if they can't, will Blizzo be able to survive deep into dampening? He's got his Die by the Sword available. He's got that Gliders Medallion as well. They're trying to hold on to it because Nixie's in a polymorph, but I don't think they can afford to. Die by the Sword now trades, but it's before Vendetta, which puts Blizzo on a 30-second clock to get a kill. If he doesn't get one in 30 seconds, pretty sure Nixie's going to bowl him over with Vendetta.
Oh, they got the first ice block of the game with the blind on Tomorrow. He just used that as basically a trinket to get out of that crowd control. But Blizzo, he's not getting topped off. Nixie's got the evasion. He's got the Cloak of Shadows. He's got the kidney shot. 52% dampening. Looney, how do you still have mana, and how are you keeping Blizzo alive? Nixie is the one that has to run, trading out his Vanish. He has the Vendetta coming in for 4 seconds, and I just can't help but feel like that Vendetta is going to close out the game.
Yep, evasion from Nixie. Blizzo can now no longer attack him. Vendetta available. Nixie just needs to pull the trigger on it. He's waiting a long time. The longer he waits, Blizzo is taking advantage of leaping over, getting the intimidating shot. If any crowd control is secured onto Askerath, Nixie is going to get chopped off. They secure it. Bash has landed. Nixie's on the run, trying to avoid Blizzo, but can he? Sharpened Blade at low health, denying the heal over time effects, denying the Crimson Vial, and Blizzo, he's done it. He's put the Rogue Mage Druid on match points. This is so surprising.
The circumstances would put them in such a good position going into summer.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if for Diabolus, they need to play more aggressive. Alec is playing really defensive. He's trying to kite Blizzo very far away, but it's making it really difficult for Nixie to essentially solo Morrow in a lot of these situations. Maybe Diabolus, they need to really focus on the amount of control that they have. Play to their advantage, you know, get the kidney shot over on Tomorrow, and that allows Alec a lot of freedom to actually land crowd control onto Looney. And I think maybe if they can do that a little bit more consistently instead of playing so passive, they could end up closing out the game a little sooner.
All right, this is the best performance we've seen from Wildcard Gaming. Is it going to be their answer for all of the Rogue Mage Druids of Europe? Certainly it's looking good here for Game 1 and Game 2. Game 3, sort of a safety pick here with Tiger's Peak. Not really any significant map advantage to either team. Alec getting bursted down early on. Gladiator's Safeguard already out of the way. Blizzo is certainly doing work.
Yeah, Morrow pushing forward. Lands the Gladiator's Maledict over onto Alec. And this is the point of the game where they start rotating through some of the smaller defensive cooldowns, like the Temporal Shield, like the Iron Bark, in order to get a precious Ice Block. And once they get the Ice Block, they can sort of rinse and repeat that cycle to get Cold Snap and follow-up Ice Blocks. Alec gets interrupted. Morrow now moving forward. There is crowd control on Looney, so Morrow could be in a little bit of trouble, but Blizzo with a nice intimidating shout, looking to reverse the pressure in this situation. Morrow's been doing a really good job in this match, getting control of Nixie, doing a good job with his Cone of Cold, with his Frost Novas, with his Shimmers, with Polymorphs to just control up Nixie. Alec on the back foot once again. Blizzo was just all over him, spinning around with that Vision of Perfection Blade Storm. Alec in execute range could easily just go down. Namaro manages to find an interrupt, and Alec is forced into that ice block, and we're only a couple minutes into the game.
Once again, one-sided in favor of Wildcard Gaming. Is Warrior Mage Druid going to be the answer, or is it just Wildcard Gaming going to be the answer to the Rogue Mage Druid composition? Looney interrupted. This is an opportunity. Can Alec generate pressure? He's under fire himself. Quite a risky gamble. Storm bolted by Blizzo. Blizzo breaking out of the roots of Avatar, leaping back onto target. Polymorph on Blizzo. Where's the dispel? Looney not able to dispel it, unfortunately. Instead, cycloning Nixie, stalling the game. Blizzo now cycloned, waiting for those diminishing returns to fade before making another big push towards Alec. Alec using that Cone of Cold, trying to avoid the sharpened blade. Both mages generating icicles. Vendetta available in 38 seconds. Going to be an opportunity for Nixie, potentially, with the smoke bomb on Blizzo. Looney's trinket out of the way. Would love to see an Icy Veins Vendetta swap to Looney. Try and catch him off guard. Otherwise, I feel like the strategy is becoming too predictable. Blizzo and Maro appear more than ready.
I mean, they're looking good in the matchup so far. Alec still under fire. Most damage in favor of Wildcard Gaming. Blizzo just putting out so much pressure in the match. Alec has really struggled. I mean, we want to talk about Frost Mage damage. We've been comparing Blizzo and Nixie, but Maro is tripling the damage of Alec in this game. So a lot of pressure in favor of Maro. And keep in mind, Maro has an Assassination Rogue training mount in the game. So I feel like on all fronts right now, Wildcard Gaming, they're looking good. They're putting out more damage. They're getting more crowd control. They're getting more cooldowns. Finally, Diabolus is managing to slightly find their stride in the match. Maro with a nice temporal shield should bounce himself out to full. Bash over onto Looney. Maro could be in some trouble. There's a Stormbolt on Alec. Garrote Silence comes in. Maro, oh, that was a big disaster. Maro made a big mistake in that situation. Gladiator Safeguard procced. He had that available, and he wasted an ice block completely. He would have been fine with just a Safeguard proc. So little misplays coming in from Wildcard Gaming. Nets Diabolus and ice block.
Diabolus battling back to try and swing the series. 3 in their favor. Can they do it? They're switching to Looney. They get his Barkskin. Got a decent amount of momentum so far. I'm almost surprised that they haven't experimented with Looney as a target. In the Rogue Mage Druid mirrors, they were switching to Druids, but against the Warrior Mage Druid, they seemed a bit reluctant. Asgrath now in a Cyclone, but he anticipated it, activating Iron Bark prior to the crowd control. That is allowing Alec to stabilize slowly but surely. Sharpened Blade on the Temporal, trying to reduce its effectiveness, but not too much so. Maro now under fire. Huge pressure. Can they get the second Ice Block, or maybe just outright kill him? So low on health, managing to stay alive, although now Cycloned on Iron Bark. Cyclone denying the heals of Looney. Don't have any. Oh, they get the second Cyclone on Maro. They need to get crowd control on Looney as soon as possible, but no one's in position to do it. Unless they just outright kill him. They drop the smoke bomb. Beautiful plays right now by Nixie. Maro blinks, but he gets Ursul's Vortex back into the fight. Nixie getting a lot of uptime as a result of Asgarath's setup. How on earth is Maro holding on to the second ice block? That is a risky gamble that he is making, but he manages to make it out alive.
I mean, you can play a little bit greedy at this point in the game. I mean, it's only 2% dampening. The Restoration Druid heals are really powerful, so if you can avoid damage, if you know you can shimmer the Comet Storm, Ice Nova, if you can get away from Nixie just a little bit longer, that's when you can kind of greed it in the matchup. Maro, big damage once again coming in. Nixie setting up his team. Garrote Silence over on Maro. This is the control of the Rogue Mage Druid, paying dividends for Diabolus. Maro into his second ice block, complete control of the game at this point. I mean, at the beginning, it looked like Wildcard Gaming, they were walking all over Diabolus, but this has reverse sweep written all over it.
Yeah, it does at this point. I mean, it's a significant lead. Cold Snap becoming available for Alec. The only thing really in favor of Wildcard Gaming is that Asgarath's mana is not looking that great. Although on Tiger's Peak, will he be able to get away and drink? It's going to become a big question. Stormbolt on Asgrath. Alec gets Cycloned on his Temp Shield. Good denial of that defensive cooldown. Asgrath lines up an Innervate Overgrowth. Is there going to be a Spell Steal, or are they going to save it for that Gladiator Safeguard? A bit of an awkward choice as a mage that you need to make in this matchup. Doesn't look like it's going to be of too much consequence. Asgrath gets away with the extra healing. Blizzo getting a decent amount of uptime. Alec interrupted, but a huge heal from Asgrath comes in, and Alec is sitting pretty.
Yeah, Alec does manage to hold on with 10% dampening. Look at mana. Looney behind in the matchup. At this point, Alec and Maro have sort of evened out on damage. Blizzo still way ahead. but he's been having a difficult time maintaining high uptime over onto Alec, landing a Stormbolt. Asgaroth does manage to respond with the Iron Bark, keeping Alec nice and healthy. Now they look for an aggressive push. Looney with the counter bash onto Asgaroth. Asgaroth was the one that pushed in, but he got bashed first by Looney. They were able to reverse the pressure because of that. Now it's Alec on the back foot. Cyclone coming in, nicely done by Looney. He's getting in a prime position to try to land a Cyclone on Asgaroth. Nice sap by Nixie. Asgaroth went for a Cyclone on Looney, he Shadow Melded it. Looney went for a Cyclone on Asgaroth, Asgaroth Shadow Melded it. Nixie gets the sap off of that. That was actually a really cool play.
All right, let's see if they can close it out off the back of that. Looney in crowd control, beautiful chain, and they're looking likely to take game number 3. Morrow barely holding on, somehow still able to stay alive as a result of his great peeling. Nixie into Polymorphs and Frost Novas, and able to prevent his own demise. But Alec has 2 ice blocks left. So if you're Wildcard Gaming and you're making an assessment here, I don't think that that's a race you can win. Maybe it's just better to stall. So perhaps attacking the mage is the best target to stall, because Mara will have Cold Snap in 57 seconds, his ice block in 1:40. But of course, they're not going to just let that happen. Looney trading Iron Bark to recover throughout this assault. Blizzo activating Sharpened Blade, but not able to connect to Alec just yet to do too much damage. Dispelled out of that Polymorph, reflects the second. Alec blinks away but gets Storm Bolted, although he was able to blink in and secure a Polymorph on Looney. A bit of a blunder on Wildcard Gaming's part. Perhaps they were relying on that Storm Bolt, but it was about a second too late. Morrow now in a stun, 26 seconds away from his Cold Snap. Looney trades the Gladiator's Medallion, breaking crowd control to recover and buy that time that they so desperately need.
Yeah, Morrow does manage to blink away. He's going to be completely fine in this situation, but Looney's got no trinket, so the next setup could be scary. Although Morrow, he has the Cold Snap rotating back up, although he wants to wait. He wants to wait another 52 seconds. It's Alec that's forced into an ice block, and now things are starting to go in favor of Wildcard Gaming. This is looking good. I mean, Alec, he's down an ice block. Morrow has basically 2 ice blocks coming up in around 30 seconds. If they can just hold on a little bit longer, they're going to be in a prime position. Alec is now trying to get some damage rolling over onto Morrow. Drops out the Frozen Orb. Morrow with a Shimmer manages to avoid that damage. 26% dampening in the match right now. Full Cyclone onto Asgaroth. He trinkets out. Massive damage from Morrow, forcing Alec to run away and hide into his second ice block. And this is just a complete reversal of pressure at this point in the game.
Yeah, Wildcard Gaming holds strong here. Mana is starting to dwindle at almost 30% dampening, but Morrow has 2 ice blocks. Suddenly, that situation that was Alec is up 2 ice blocks is now in favor of Wildcard Gaming. They have the potential now to close the series out 3-0, advance to Championship Sunday, advance to face Method Black in what will also likely be a Rogue Mage Druid, unless of course Swapsy has something to say about it. Perhaps they have a composition that will just trounce the Warrior Mage Druid if they don't want to take the Rogue Mage Druid matchup. This is certainly great data for them to analyze for the rest of the tournament. Blizzo setting up potentially game-winning crowd control for his team. He doesn't have any follow-up. No, Looney's there to back him up with a bash, but Alec denies the connect with Temporal Shields, absorbing all that Blade Storm damage and healing Alec back into the fight.
Yeah, Alec going to be completely topped off. He's stable. He's looking good. Asgaroth with the Iron Bark manages to do so. 33% dampening. Looney's mana, he's at around 3-4% mana. There's really not that much left he can work with. There's a big lead here for Diabolus, and we'll have to see what they can get done. Blizzo now into a Cyclone, into a Polymorph. Good control here from Diabolus. Kidney shot onto Morrow. Can they force out an ice block? Yet it's both of them rotated back up at this point in the game. So in terms of cooldowns, Wildcard Gaming, they have a massive lead. And actually, Looney managed to sneak away and get a drink as well. He gets interrupted. Morrow gets kicked. He could be in trouble. Can he hold on? The Temporal Shield's rolling. Does he have the Gladiator Safeguard? As Proc manages to stay alive off the back of that trinket. Cyclone now onto Looney. Morrow still just kiting. He's trying to run. He's trying to hide. He is low. Big damage over onto Alec. He's got no ice blocks left. Alec could easily fall. There's a bash on Asgaroth. Good crowd control from Wildcard Gaming. Can they take him down?
Alec, nothing left. If Blizzo connects, it could be the end of the game. He's on the run. He Frost Novas Blizzo. Blizzo gets dispelled out. Frost Nova'd again. Breaks out of that. Storm Bolts Alec. Finally getting some uptime on Alec at 40% dampening. Alec running into the Shadow Sight Eye. He's going to take 5% more damage That's a bit of a mistake by Alec. Blizzo's in battle stance. He's going to be doing more damage. Nixie needs to support. Instead, Alec going to control Blizzo. They're so desperate right now. They're down 2 ice blocks still for another minute and 30 seconds. They're trying to persevere and hold out here at 42% dampening, but I'm not sure that they can do it. I think they're running out of time.
I mean, and the scary thing is, for a lot of the rogue mages, is Diabolus is actually really good at these type of matchups normally. I mean, their rogue mage druid can normally go toe-to-toe with any other mage druid X composition. They've been looking good, but still, Wildcard Gaming, they've been looking even better. Blizzo getting caught into a polymorph. Like you kind of mentioned, Alec, he has the ice blocks rotating back up. We're at 45% dampening. We're at 12.5 minutes into this game. Can Alec really hold on for another 50 seconds is the question.
50 seconds, that's, what is the number? I'm waiting for the 46% dampening.
That was last weekend.
No mana for Asgarath. I don't know if Alec is going to be able to make it alive, but maybe they can just kill Blizzo. Maybe they don't need to stay alive. If they can just end the lives of their opponents faster, they will be taking game number 3 and looking for a reverse sweep. Blizzo's defense is over. Looney trinkets, but he's already so low on health. His Vendetta has built so much momentum.
Nice cyclone
on the Iron Park, denying its defense, and this is looking likely to be Diabolus' victory. Can they do it? Can they pull it off? Iron Bark is faded. The defense is cracked. Blizzo is isolated. Trinkets out of the stun. Ursul's Vortex back in the line of sight, but he's charging forward boldly to kill Alec 4 seconds away from his ice block. Temporal Shield and Iron Bark should be more than enough time. Alec now has an ice block. Blizzo has no defense. Looney is in a cyclone, and suddenly this is looking terrible. Blizzo blade storming away to try and get to safety, but he's so low on health with the Gladiator's Maledict absorbing the heals. It is unlikely that he will survive. And Diabolus stay alive.
Have such a tough time here to go against the Terminator Blizzo on the Arms Warrior, looking to upset the meta, looking to upset Diabolus and put his team through to that upper bracket final against Method Black, which I feel like we haven't seen the entire season, Sid.
Yep. Let's see if they can pull it off. Wildcard Gaming were really the rivals of Method Black for all of the spring season, but they seem to have fallen off in the summer season. Perhaps the Warrior Mage Druid is their composition that they can utilize to become that rival that we've known them for so long, throughout years, I would say, at this point, between Method Black and Wildcard Gaming. Maro the target initially here. Temporal Shield is already cut through. Do they get further crowd control? Yes, they do. Sap is landed. Maro cannot afford any mistakes here. Can he stay alive? Gladiator Safeguard absorbing some of the potentially final hits on 10%. Ooh, so overlapped with the commanding shout of Blizzo. Definitely a big opening here.
I mean, I think this map is going to backfire. Wildcard Gaming thinks, oh, Alex running, he's hiding too much, but I feel like that's actually helping Wildcard Gaming in a sense. Because of the fact that, you know, Alec isn't pushing in, he's not getting crowd controls often. On this map, they have to play more aggressive, and I feel like that aggressive playstyle in this matchup actually favors the Rogue Mage. Alec lands crowd control. It's going to be difficult for Maro to run and hide on this map also, and just with the control the Rogue Mage Druid has, they can't help but feel like this is just going to start going more and more in favor of Diabolus. Maro getting low, he gets interrupted on Frost. He could just fall instantly. He gets interrupted on Arcane as well. Looney lands an Iron Bark. That gets denied by Asgarath. Maro in still so much trouble.
All right, let's see if he can hold out here. He's got the ice barrier absorbing some hits, and he's managed to recover. Blizzo is trying to generate pressure on the opposite side of the map towards Alec, but he is soaking it all up in that Temporal Shield, going back to full health as a result. Asgarath in a cyclone. Alec the target. Can they get a block with this crowd control? Ah, the bash was 1 second too late. Asgarath got an Iron Bark active on Alec prior to the crowd control, which is reducing all of the damage on Alec and allowing Asgarath to sit through the crowd control, although not comfortably and actually not at all. First ice block forced from Alec. Wildcard Gaming staying in it.
Yep, they have managed to tie up the ice block situation. Nixie was trying to get some damage rolling on Looney, but Looney was just completely fine. And Nixie has to change his focus back on to Maro once again. As you see Blizzo on Alec, Nixie all over Maro. Both these melee trying to get as much damage, much pressure as possible on these mages. Alec trades out the Temporal Shield. as Asgrath was into an intimidating shout. Nicely done by Alec. He manages to top himself off. He has the cold snap, still hasn't activated. Maro already traded his out, and that actually gives Alec a slight lead. Alec always does this. I'm not exactly sure why. He never uses the cold snap, or very rarely. He always tries to wait, always tries to greet it, but I just feel like on this small map, it's such a greedy play to make, and if, 2 minutes down the line, 3 minutes down the line, Alec has the cold snap, then he essentially, he's putting himself in a terrible spot for that third ice block. I definitely prefer the strategy Maro is implementing right now. Cyclone on Looney into a full bash. Maro getting taken down quite fast. Temporal Shield manages to keep him alive with the Iron Bark. Maro's going to hold on. Alec taking some burst damages as well. He has the Temporal Shield, not opting to use it just yet. There's an Iron Bark available for Asgrath also, so need to get those small cooldowns out of the way. Right now, Diabolus has managed to do that. Maro with no Temporal Shield, Looney with no Iron Bark. This is when they can start getting aggressive and maybe get that second ice block.
All right, Looney's locked down. Maro isolated. Blizzo's spell reflects a polymorph, though, slowing down some of Alec's pressure. Asgrath lands a Cyclone, but Looney's out and free and able to assist. And I think Maro should begin to return to full health. Asgrath and a Cyclone opting to trade Iron Bark a bit prematurely to the crowd control rather than trading it, anticipating crowd control. He's trading it with the Avatar Sharpened Blade of Blizzo, lining up with that sustained damage. But Alec was actually able to avoid any damage regardless, so potentially this Iron Bark not necessary from Asgrath. Blizzo stunned as we see a swap. Can they take us to a game 5 in the swap? Very low on health. Iron Bark active from Looney. And a big Swift Mend is going to stabilize Blizzo. But of course, Nixie trying to mix it up and keep Wildcard Gaming on their toes.
Wildcard Gaming definitely a little bit on the back foot right now, but really not too bad. There's still a massive damage lead in favor of Wildcard Gaming at this point. Nixie trying to get out of line of sight, trading out his Cloak of Shadows, looking to get aggressive on tomorrow, denying the follow-up crowd control, denying the damage. So now Nixie's going to be a little bit more vulnerable of a target. The fact is, once he doesn't have the Cloak of Shadows, if he doesn't have the evasion, that's when we could see Wildcard Gaming really going after him in this matchup. The Cyclone over onto Looney, but unfortunately there's really no damage. Oh, just got a full Frost over onto Nixie. There's good control. And at 2% dampening, both teams seem very stable.
Yep, both teams seem very stable. Slight mana lead for Looney. And Maro in a bit of trouble, though. Second ice block available. Cyclone at low health, denying the Iron Bark's defense. Definitely scary moment here for Looney to recover. If they have to use ice block on top of it, it's going to be devastating. Maro with the gigantic ice barrier. Frost Nova Nixie away. Holding out now with the polymorph on the Dispel. Alec is now isolated, but he's 30 seconds away from 2 ice blocks. Wildcard Gaming need to make a push to get that cold snap in that 25-second window of time. Otherwise, it's not looking too good. Maro now has his ice block to trade. Mana has evened out between the teams. And as dampening begins, it's looking like both mages will reset their ice blocks, keeping this game even.
Yep. Both mages full reset on ice blocks, but on the small map, it's going to be really difficult for either one of these druids to sneak away and get a drink. In the last game, Looney did manage to recover his mana, although they did end up losing. It's nice to have that as an option. Kidney shot over onto Looney. It is Maro still in trouble. It's curious why Nixie decided to commit the kidney shot on Looney in that situation. Alex didn't even have a Ring of Frost ready to go. That's the only crowd control they had, and unfortunately they lost the control of Maro in that situation, but I don't really blame him for trying. Maybe something happened where Alec got he got caught in a stun or something like that. I'm not exactly sure why that played out that way. Asgrath now caught into a polymorph. Alec trades out an ice block. He's got one left. Keep in mind, he's got the cold snap. Is he going to trade it out, or is he going to hold on to it and try to save it? We'll see. They're at 12% dampening. 7 minutes have elapsed in this game. Asgrath's mana, he's only got 20% mana left. Looney with a slight lead. Damage still greatly in favor of Wildcard Gaming. And if Wildcard Gaming can hold on, things are going to be looking good. They have to try to close the game out at around 30, 40% dampening. Once they get up to 50, 60%, that's when I feel like healing Blizzo is basically impossible for Looney. And that's when Diabolus basically get a really solid win condition.
Wildcard Gaming need to end this game soon. They've got one ice block advantage in their favor, so if they can keep good uptime, it's looking like a likely situation. And right now they're getting good crowd control onto the healer Asgrath. Can they race that temp shield? not able to race the temp shield, but maybe they can just get further crowd control, close it out. They do. They get the second ice block. Wildcard Gaming are setting themselves up for victory here on match point, looking likely to advance to face Method Black. And if I'm Method Black watching this series, perhaps I'm considering a composition to deal with the Warrior Mage Druid. Although I'm not entirely sold that the Rogue Mage Druid is that awful. It's evenly matched at worst, I think, for them. But there could be other compositions more prioritized for the Warrior Mage Druid.
Yeah, Blizzo in a kidney shot. It looks like Diabolus, they're going to be going after Blizzo a little bit earlier on in the match, and that might be to just tax Looney's mana. They can force the Iron Bark out. I mean, Morrow at this point, he has both of his ice blocks. You can't really blame them for trying to go after Blizzo. If they can get the die by the sword early on, then later on, without that cooldown available, he's going to be super susceptible as a target, but this allows Morrow to just free cast. He gets the Ring of Frost. Now massive damage for Morrow. Look at him. Frostbolt after Frostbolt. Finally, Alec finding a little bit of control of the matchup. Azrath did trinket out of that Ring of Frost to try to keep his team alive. He commits the Iron Bark over onto Alec. Both Druids miraculously have actually recovered mana in this situation. Neither one of them had managed to sneak away for a drink, but they're both up on mana. Full sap now over onto Looney. Cyclone on Morrow. Blizzo's in a lot of trouble. There's the die by the sword. He trades that out. He's trying to line of sight, but at 25% dampening, this is not the time of the game where you want to trade that out. Now, as dampening ramps up, he's not going to have that cooldown. He's not going to have that safety net, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yep. Diabolus just extending the game to one-shot Blizzo deeper into dampening, and it could definitely be a possibility at this point, but they still have no ice blocks remaining. Who's going to fall first here? Now at 27% dampening. Blizzo stunned up, but no crowd control on Looney. He's going to Iron Bark, but it was before Vendetta. There's a Vendetta, there's a Smoke Bomb. If I'm Nixie, I am pretty happy about this situation. I'm not sure if Looney will be able to heal through this Vendetta at 30% dampening, but maybe they don't have to heal through it. If they can just kill Alec before Nixie pulls the trigger, then they're not going to have to deal with it. Can they kill Alec before that period of time? It's looking pretty good right now. Blizzo gets stunned away, but he pre-defensive stance the stun, but Azrath continues to get controlled. Alec's safeguard gets dispelled off by Morrow. Big Comet Storm comes connecting in. 5 seconds away from the Iron Bark of Azrath, but a huge Swift Mend going to allow Alec to stay alive. And now Nixie, he's got that opportunity with Vendetta at any moment.
Yeah, and he forced out Blizzo's Trinket with a blind as well. And got him into a kitty shot, and that's why Alec was able to survive. Full Ring of Frost on Looney, but Blizzo may have ran out of time. You can see Azrath, he's got a Trinket rolling up in 8 seconds. There's a Smoke Bomb, Kidney Shot, Vendetta, everything. Looney trying to keep him alive in pure desperation with the Iron Bark, but he gets interrupted. Nice interrupt by Alec. And this is how the matchup is supposed to play out. Diabolus, this is looking like an easy reverse sweep.
For that summer finals, if they could win here, it would make it basically a sure thing. Even if they lose, the fact that they are starting to find answers for this Rogue Mage Druid bodes incredibly well for Wildcard Gaming, and just in time.
Yeah, once again, game number 5 here. It seems like we've been having a lot of games go the distance today. A lot of teams really turning up the heat here for one of the final cups here for summer season. Let's see if Wildcard Gaming and Diabolus can do it. Wildcard Gaming, if they can sharpen their blade on Blade's Edge, that would certainly be in their favor.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I was going to say it would be a final fitting resting blade.
Okay, so I'm actually...
You're ramping up.
Who picked this map? Wildcard Gaming selected Blade's Edge Arena. Why?
I think it's just because they can just jump down whenever they get good crowd control, and Blizzo can also leap back up, so you're going to allow him to use that ZY axis a little bit against that Rogue Mage, whereas the Assassination Rogue is not going to have that same luxury. And now we see a big attempt here onto Alec. Asgarath caught up in the Cyclone. This could already be an Ice Block full bash onto Asgarath, and Alec is going to immediately trade.
But I guess Alec just doesn't have the same amount of space up on this bridge to really kite and get away, and that allows Blizzo a lot of uptime in the match where he can get the pressure rolling, and as a result, they do net that first ice block from Alec. But we've seen it in the past. Wildcard Gaming, they can get the ice blocks rolling from Alec, but that just puts him in the situation where he just starts playing really defensive in the match, and he's able to hold on until the 3rd and 4th ice block do rotate back up. Morrow on the back foot, big damage incoming. Both mages trade out their ice barriers, soaking up a lot of that damage. Full Cyclone on Blizzo, good control from both teams at this point in the game. Now Morrow in a Cyclone. Nice crowd control coming in from Asgarath.
I was going to say, this is, I feel like, going to be in favor of Wildcard Gaming if Alec remains on the top of the bridge. So he's repositioned down the ramp on the outskirts, and this is a much better position as the mage. You can just use the outside perimeter to go in a big rectangle, up one ramp, down the other ramp, and avoid a lot of the damage. Whereas on top of the bridge, you're just going to be taking a huge amount of Blizzo, and that's not what you want to be taking here, as the Arms Warrior does a ton of damage. Blade Storm now connecting out of the Frost Nova towards Alec. Nixie is cycloned. Not able to break that as he's running Relentless. Good crowd control by Wildcard Gaming. Unfortunately, Blizzo is in a Cyclone himself and not able to connect any damage. Going to break out of the Frost Nova with the Avatar. Alec anticipates it, activates Temp Shield, absorbs all of the damage of the Avatar, then heals it back up. Asgarath is out of crowd control and should be able to stabilize through the Frozen Ore.
And another beautiful crowd control attempt here. Looney now caught up in a full cyclone here. Asgarath really looking to get something going here, but Blizzo is crowd controlled, and now we see Diabolus going after Morrow. They're completely behind on the mage race, so I'm not sure if this is the correct strategy to go for here, but they do secure a polymorph here onto Looney. Do they have any more follow-up? Doesn't look to be the case, but a beautiful cyclone by Asgarath on that Iron Bark of Looney. But that was the icy veins from Alec. Nice double fear here from Blizzard, looking to reverse the pressure back onto Alec.
Yeah, and it will be Alec taking most of the pressure. Big flurry combo coming in from Morrow as Nixie lands a kidney shot. Gets put into a cyclone by Looney. Both Druids burning through a lot of mana in the early stages of the game, both hovering at around 60%. Full blind on Looney. Heat Shrink gets out, trying to keep Morrow nice and aggressive, nice and healthy in the matchup. Doesn't want to fall too far behind. I think it's a fair trade for Looney, as blind is just such a major win condition for Diabolus. Blizzo now in a polymorph. Solid control coming in here from Diabolus, but there's just not much damage on Morrow at this point in the game. He's going to find a full Ring of Frost. Does manage to find it on Asgarath and Nixie. Asgarath immediately trinkets out to dispel Nixie so they can continue their momentum. That was a super, super good Ring of Frost there by Morrow.
All right, Morrow, can you keep it up? They got one Ice Block early on. They've got a pretty good mana lead. This is the best shape we've seen Wildcard Gaming in all summer season against the Rogue Mage Druid composition. One win away from advancing and taking 1 of 3 down to the lower bracket. Although it's going to be a battle against Rogue Mage Druid for the entire weekend. Can anyone figure out the answer, or is everyone going to have to assimilate into the Rogue Mage Druid meta themselves? It's surprising that we were having it talked up so much that Wildcard Gaming were preparing their Rogue Mage themselves and they haven't used it. Perhaps they don't feel they need to just yet. The Warrior Mage Druid obviously banking them 2 wins. Good crowd control here. Beautiful setup by Wildcard Gaming. Can they keep it going? They need a little bit more damage to cut through that Gladiator Safeguard. They cut it, and they get the second Ice Block. Although Asgarath traded it for full mana. Certainly an exchange that was necessary. Blades Edge Arena can be both one of the easier maps to drink on and also cost you the game because you have to reposition so awkwardly below the bridge with multiple points of line of sight. Nixie gets swapped to. Wildcard Gaming trying to mix it up, potentially pull an Iron Bark from Asgarath onto Nixie, so it's not available for Alec moving forward.
Yeah, beautiful stuff here. And honestly, at this point, they are so behind on the mage race. Wildcard Gaming, they have all of the momentum here. They have a long time to force out a potential kill here onto Alec. He's going to have his Cold Snap back up in about a minute. So if they can get another crowd control chain before that onto Asgarath, they could potentially take the series. And likewise, Diabolus, they know they have to go after Blizzo here. Another smoke bomb attempt. Last time Blizzo went down in one of these, but right now Morrow doing a beautiful job here, polymorphing Alec up, making sure that Blizzo can survive that without even using his Gladiator's Medallion. Now Looney looking for a drink. How much mana are you going to come back with here, Looney? Because this is also going to be big. You want to be drinking and get full mana as dampening is starting to ramp up. Asgarath already at 50%, and surely Looney's going to come back here with full mana, Ben.
Yeah, Nixie moving forward onto the bridge. Is he going to be able to get the Garrote Silence? Is he going to be able to get the control that he needs in the matchup? And Looney being at full mana at this point of the game is so good. We're at 10% dampening right now. Alec way behind. He actually has his Cold Snap rolling up in around 12 seconds. That should be enough in order to survive. What can they do? Alex getting a little bit low, still using the bottom portion of the map We kind of talked about on the upper portion, on that bridge, there's not too much space for him to run and hide, but I think Diabolus, they know what they need to do in the matchup. They just need to survive. They have to go after Blizzo later on in dampening, exploit the fact that he's an arms warrior, but I think if Looney can hold on to his mana and they can deny drinks from Asgrath, that is something Wildcard Gaming can hold on to as sort of a game-winning strategy.
That heroic leap up the bridge is certainly an advantage Blizzo will have in the matchup, as he is trying to escape while Looney drinks to full mana. Still, not much health remains as Vendetta rolling. Blizzo stalls with an intimidating shot. Nixie gets Frost Nova. Looney reconvenes, but he gets counterspelled. Alec trying to keep up the pressure. Nixie just needs to connect. Frost Nova's over. He steps over, goes for the stun. Looney denies the kill with Iron Bark, although now bashed potentially into a full polymorph. Could be devastating, not able to find it. Blizzo recovers. Blade storming back up the ramp. Looney trinkets blind. Fair trade there. However, he is falling behind. Dampening rises, and Ironbark will become unlikely to allow Blizzo to survive in the near future. Mana, though, heavily in favor of Wildcard Gaming if they can keep up their pressure.
Yeah, we're gonna see if Asgrath can sneak away for a drink. He's hovering around the starting area right now, which kind of suggests that he's looking for it. He might actually not gonna be able to find it right now. Still keeping combat, gonna activate his innervate here, make sure that Alec is topped. Alec, though, has his ice block rotated once again back off cooldown here with that cold snap. So Wildcard Gaming, they're gonna have to look for an opportunity to try to force that out. Right now, Morrow just going after Nixie here. Blizzo in big trouble. Looney in a full cyclone. Blizzo dropping dangerously low, activating his die by the sword, but is it gonna be enough? Asgrath looking to get more crowd control. The cheap shot by Nixie. Ring of Frost secured by Alec. Surely Blizzo is gonna go down here.
Temporal Shield, or sorry, the Kleptomania onto Blizzo. He's got no heal over time effects. Looney trying to play catch up. He manages to find the Iron Bark. Blizzo, can he hold on? There's a Cyclone coming in from Asgrath. If we can put that over onto Looney instead, it's going to be lights out. Another Cyclone. Nixie uses his Vanish to try to set up his team. Cheap shot onto Looney. Is there any follow-up? Unfortunately, gets denied by Morrow. Very nicely done by Morrow. That could have easily been the game, but look at Wildcard Gaming. They've got no trinket, no die by the sword. Blizzo's got no health. There's a full kidney shot. Looney's got no trinket. If they get any crowd control at Looney at this point of the game, they don't even need crowd control. Blizzo's just dead. Diabolus, reverse sweep.
Good chance, therefore, that Wildcard Gaming would overtake. They really need this victory, so.
All right, let's see if they can do it here. That fourth spot bubble point is starting to be fought, put on contention with Change My Mind now in the lower bracket, nLite in the lower bracket, as well as Wildcard Gaming. Zizon already eliminated. Summer season is coming to a feisty conclusion.
Yeah, Dave trinkets out of a Garrote Silence into a full kidney shot. Blessing of Protection comes in. They're looking for an all-in on Minpoike. He traded out the bark skin, but that's it. There was beautiful peels from Acro in that situation. Full Ring of Frost polymorph over onto DJ Alex. There's no damage. Maddox completely fine. Dave's completely fine. Now they're going after Acro in an attempt. Penguins, they're getting aggressive early on, but they don't really have the damage to back it up.
They don't have the damage to back it up, indeed. Although working through that Gladiator's Medallion is certain a major objective point. There's still a significant difference, I feel. DJ Alex and his Paladin is almost never running the Avenging Crusader. Caught in a polymorph off the back of Acro's Smoke Bomb. Dave in a lot of trouble. Gladiator Safeguard procs. Big absorption effect, soaking up all of the damage. DJ Alex sitting in blind. Trinket sacks and gets a Vision of Perfection proc, I believe, so that's perfectly lined up to allow for easy recovery. Change My Mind knows that that recovery is going to happen, so instead abandon the kill and polymorph Dave instead. Dave now looking for a Greater Pyro Blast. Acro moves over to kick him swiftly and deny that big burst of damage. How do you feel about Greater Pyro in the matchup, Ben?
I don't like it that much, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's hard to actually get a Greater Pyro Blast off, especially when you have an Assassination Rogue running after you. I think going for the short cooldown Combustion is a lot better. It gives you more consistent damage in the map, because if you look at Dave, the only real damage he has rolling in this match is going to be Fire Blast, Fire Blast, Pyro Blast from the heating up procs. If he was able to spam out a lot more fireballs, then it would be more pressure in favor of him, and I think that's why a lot of mages have opted out of the Greater Pyro Blast in this specific matchup. Dave actually just trades out his Ice Block. That was really, I don't know what happened there. He ice blocked and then immediately came out of it. I'm not entirely sure why.
Could cost him game number one. Temporal Shield about to end and heal Yestave back for a decent amount, although not substantial enough that he'll survive. Divine Favor is active. Can they remove Divine Favor from DJ Alex before he gets the heal? No. Big heal on Yestave, but now a Polymorph secured, and this is going to be the Cauterize. It could be the end of the game. Cauterize definitely going to proc here. Yestave, is he going to be able to make it alive? Blazing Barrier, absorbing a huge amount of damage. He blinks back to DJ Alex, but the Polymorph has ended, but the Cauterize is triggered. Yestave in desperation on the run here, trying to counter pressure, popping the Combustion, looking for a counter kill. And Poike denies it and blocks with Iron Bark, and now it's Yestave who has basically nothing left. The next Polymorph secured onto DJ Alex is likely to be the end of the game for Penguins.
Yeah, Yestave looking for a greater power bust, gets Garrote Silence into a Garrote Silence, into a Kidney Shot. Yestave getting completely controlled. DJ Alex trying to avoid the Polymorph. There's decent damage on Fried Kitty at this point of the game. Yestave manages to hold on. There's good damage rolling. Poike in a full blind. He trinkets. Fried Kitty getting low. And I don't think Fried Kitty has another Ice Block. I'm not sure when he used his first Ice Block. I didn't actually notice it. Maybe he had a Cold Snap for that. He was interrupted on Frost, but all of a sudden, both mages don't have any Ice Blocks left. And then Poike's got no Trinket. And I feel like in this situation, the Penguins actually have a lead.
This is surprising. If the Penguins can overcome Change My Mind's Rogue Mage Druid here, perhaps Rogue Mage Paladin was the answer all along. You know, the answer to Rogue Mage was Rogue Mage. DJ Alex in the Polymorph, and he has to make a decision. Does he trinket it into a blind, or does he try and sit it and trinket the blind afterwards? Yestave has nothing really to survive on his own for a few more seconds. DJ Alex now bashed. Yestave relying on that Gladiator Safeguard, along with the Temporal Shield, absorbing all those hits, but not healing him back for nearly enough. Divine Favor sneaks in. Yestave cycloned at low health, buying time for the diminishing return to reset of Polymorph on DJ Alex. Fried Kitty gets stunned by Matic. They drop Smoke Bomb. It's almost in desperation to save Yestave. He's so low on health while his Paladin sits through Cyclone Chain. Acro goes for an aggressive Cloak of Shadows. Comet Storm comes crashing in, and there is just no defense remaining. Change My Mind, take game one.
Yep, Change My Mind. Well played here in game. So his diseases. I actually feel like that matters a little bit, maybe, possibly.
Maybe.
I mean, we're about to find out.
That's going to be the win condition. If they can somehow put out enough damage and stop Poike from drinking, that's the win condition of the match. Otherwise, I don't know how Penguins is actually going to close this one out. I don't think it's going to be from some big attempt in a big one-shot that they have, you know, capable. They Change My Mind will have full control of this matchup. But if they can just put out the damage in this match, then maybe they can win.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Yestave had a phenomenal performance in the first game of Penguins on that Destruction Warlock. Let's see if he can get a repeat performance here. He's already summoned out those Infernals, looking to create a lot of pressure, but Change My Mind are just kind of ducking, respecting the damage. Arma immediately looking for him in Poike, and I'm interested to see what kind of strategy they're going to be going for here, because the Rogue Mage Druid strategy is pretty straightforward. Land CC onto DJ Alex, and actually they do get the follow-up there as well from Poike. They drop the Smoke Bomb, Frozen Orb onto Yestave. He's going to have to use the Unending Resolve immediately.
Yeah, that is putting Yestave incredibly far behind early on, although they are counter-pressuring Fried Kitty quite heavily, as they may be able to get an Ice Block. Poike in a Polymorph stolen by Arma. Perhaps we shouldn't have sold this composition so short.
Ooh, Fried Kitty dropping super low here. Okay,
is this
they
real?
get an Ice Block.
Is this real life?
All right. Feeling that right now, he's very happy that he made the prediction that maybe Penguins can actually win this matchup, but is this just completely out of left field? You can't help but think if Penguins knew this was a winning matchup, they would have just picked it in game number one, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought, but now they may be in trouble. DJ Alex in a blind, a full poly. Surely this is the Divine Shielder.
No!
Some type of crowd control breaker. No, please! Divine Shield sacrifice going to keep Yestave alive. Now cycloned at low health by Poike. Opportunity knocks here. Can they remove the Divine Favor? They spell steal it. Big heal loss for DJ Alex. Acro in a stolen Cyclone. Poike in a Fear. 3 versus 1 on Fried Kitty. Will Iron Park be enough? Chaos Bolt gets stunned. Fried Kitty able to wrap around the staircase if he needs to. They're going to spell steal the Blessing of Protection as well. I mean, that is the most amount of damage we've really seen against the Rogue Mages, the Unholy Death Knight Destruction Warlock. The problem is their defense is now totally cracked open. Vendetta comes up in 40. I mean, what do you do?
They got an ice block. I mean, that's good. That's a good start, but they got a long way to go. Let's be completely honest. And if you look, Penguins, they have nothing. DJ Alex has got no trinket, no divine shield, no sacrifice, no blessing of protection. Yes, Dave, he's got nothing left also. Fried Kitty's going to be moving forward. Acro managing to find a stun with a full polymorph on DJ Alex. Yes, Dave right now trying to keep himself alive. He manages to find 1 Chaos Bolt, 2 onto Acro, but the damage just isn't there. Acro with the feint manages to hold on. Arma actually trying to get some pressure rolling onto Minpoike. This is good. Minpoike's in a little bit of trouble. DJ Alex, he's going to be moving forward, trying to help him out. As Arma's just chasing Minpoike across the map. He wants to take him down so badly.
They're playing absolutely just for the all-in, and now I think their time is run out. Yes, Dave, very low on health, out of line of sight. Thunder's Maledict absorbing tons of healing. DJ Alex dispels it. He needs to get the Divine Favor heal. Goes for it, gets it. Big recovery. Acro gripped off. Yes, Dave. He's going to be pretty happy about that. Now fearing Minpoike, catching him out of position. Trying to create some potential here onto Fried Kitty, but not finding any damage. Maybe with a stolen Cyclone from Arma. Certainly the Dark Simulacrums of the Death Knight have been a big benefactor to the Penguins' momentum. Now Smoke Bomb is dropped. Unending Resolve available in 1. Actually, Blessing of Sacrifice available now as well. But a full blind. Yes, Dave stalls.
No
Double
breakers.
Mortal Coil. Can they get the? They get the polymorph. This is looking good.
Alex caught up in that polymorph right now. Yes, Dave in a little bit of trouble, but do they have the follow-up CC here? I'm not sure. DJ Alex now in a bash as well. Yes, Dave caught behind the pillar. Frozen Orb. I think DJ Alex should be able to connect that Hand of Sacrifice here. Okay, they don't overlap. They only use the Unending Resolve, but is it going to be enough here? DJ Alex has his Divine Favor ready. He's going for it. Gets spell stolen. Fake casts the counter spell of Fried Kitty.
Beautiful.
What a legend, DJ Alex. He for sure would have went down right there.
For sure watch some Zaryu clips.
He for sure would have went down there if he didn't make that play. Beautifully done there by DJ Alex, but like Sid said, if that mage was Zaryu, he probably would have hit that counterspell.
Yeah, yes, Dave's still low. I mean, DJ Alex doing a great job, but this is going to be his ultimate sacrifice, almost certainly. But no, a large heal connects. DJ Alex trying to hold on, but it's a full polymorph. He uses the sacrifice on Yes Dave, redirecting the damage and getting out of the polymorph. Nicely done there by the Penguins, holding on in this match. Arma just caught into endless crowd control. Look at this Death Knight. Gets polymorphed into a Frost Nova. He's just trying to go after Minpoike in the match, but unfortunately, he has to come back and try to get something rolling over onto Acro. This tape gets interrupted, and he uses Demonic Gateway to get away. Acro in hot pursuit has the Vendetta. There's no Blessing of Protection. There's no real catch-up mechanics for DJ Alex at this point of the game. Yes, Dave's caught in a kidney shot behind the pillar. He trinkets. He's out of line of sight. He's really overextended. This kiting from Yes Dave is a little bit questionable. I mean, DJ Alex tries to get on top of him with the Divine Shield and the Divine Seed. He's basically pulling out every miracle out of his pocket to try to get back to Yes Dave and try to keep him alive.
I feel like Penguins, they just like pick this comp. They're like, what? I don't know what beats Rogue Mage. What do we have? All right, pick those and put them together. Imagine if they actually had games on this comp. I mean,
maybe they do. How do we know they don't?
I feel like, do they have games as this comp?
You have to ask them. I don't know. No, we'll see. DJ Alex in a polymorph. Yes Dave taking a little bit of damage right now. Still low. There's another polymorph over on to DJ Alex. Yes, Dave just holding on by a thread. Cheap shot comes in from Acro. Yes, Dave in defiance with the double Mortal Coil, trying to stay alive. He's in a Garrote Silence. There's still so much trouble. Full kidney shot lands. Massive pressure here from Change My Mind.
DJ Alex again, fake cast with the Divine Favor, gets stolen by Fried Kitty, jukes it out, tops off Yes Dave. Honestly, Yes Dave right now, he has 9 lives, and it looks like he wants to claim Acro's life here because he's caught up in that fear, and Arma is looking to close out the match here. Minpoike, what are you going to do? Acro going dangerously low. No way! Stat against all odds.
I can't quite believe it, but at the same time, the composition kind of makes a fair bit of sense. You know, Destruction Warlocks, DKs, they have a lot of damage. They have the diseases to keep the Druid from drinking, and in terms of defense, not too bad either. That said, this is Rogue Mage Druid. This has changed my mind, and they're not going to go out without a fight.
Is this the counter to the Rogue Mage Druid all along? Hidden in the shadows. Destruction Warlock and Holy Death Knight Holy Paladin. MLPal the target early on by the Penguins. Gladiator Safeguard gets shredded. Barkskin and are committed. Are they just going to tunnel the Druid? Looks like they can't keep up the chase. MLPal escapes.
At what cost, though? I mean, he's Barkskin, he's Ironbark, he almost died. Safeguard proc. MLPal is going to be running and hiding, playing chicken for a little bit in this game. He is playing the balance affinity, so it is a little bit appropriate right now. And look at Acro, he's using everything. He's got no evasion, he's got no Cloak of Shadows, he's got no vanish. The first Infernals of Dave just completely forcing Change My Mind. It's really defensive position, but now things have slowly started to even out. Dave is getting low with the polymorph on DJ Alex. There's a Cyclone as well. This is disaster time. DJ Alex is going to have to use a sacrifice. Maybe not, though. The Gladiator Safeguard to get spell stolen off. Dave could easily just fall. Mortal Coil comes in. DJ Alex, how are you still not using anything? Very greedy. Dave could have easily fallen. Both these teams are just dancing with death. I mean, at that point, at least they held on to the unending resolve. DJ Alex still has his trinket sacrifice, but what a scary moment.
One thing Penguins have going for them is they've got nothing to lose. There's no way that they can catch up on points, whereas Change My Mind, if they lose this, there's a good chance that they're not top 4. So Penguins, they've got that going. Perhaps they'll just catch them off guard. They're playing, what do you want to say, a little lackadaisically, just kind of moseying around, attacking whatever they feel like. And they're really just catching Change My Mind off guard due to almost the randomness of their tactics in this game in the lower bracket. Change My Mind can't afford to lose.
Yeah, I mean, Arma, he's going to be pushing forward, trying to keep up the pressure on that mage. Right now, Fried Kitty actually having to play defensive. A Fear was used by Dave on MLPal into a full Hammer of Justice. MLPal trying to run away, but Arma finds the Asphyxiate stun. MLPal could be in some trouble. He's dashing, he's running, he's hiding once again, crossing the map. And this is a situation Change My Mind has found himself in before, and is actually the reason why Acro went down in the game number 2, is because they can force MLPal to run away. This composition, this Unholy Death Knight, they have a lot of pressure on MLPal. He can't afford to just sit there and tank through this damage. And I think because of that, it creates windows of opportunity where now Acro, he's got no Cloak of Shadows. That makes him vulnerable moving forward.
All right, let's see if they can close it out here. Vendetta available, no unending resolve. That is a big push potential for Change My Mind. Can they get into position to execute on that strategy? Acro sets up the team. Fried Kitty gets the follow-up. Dave in a stun. Perfect situation to end the game. DJ Alex needs to get back to Dave. He gets nobody. Freedoms. He connects the Divine Favor, but now in a Cyclone. Still has the Gladiator's Medallion to break out. He's got to measure whether or not he needs to. There's not much health left to measure with. They spell steal the Gladiator Safeguard. Sacrifice connects right before the bash. Now Dave looking to get aggressive, but who's he going to attack? 2 ice blocks remain on the mage. Evasion for Acro. Barkskin for MLPal. He cyclones Dave at low health. Acro's on top of both players. DJ Alex and Apollo. This should be KO. Even with the anti-magic zone, Dave is just so low on health. DJ Alex doesn't have many options. He gets polymorphed again on the Holy Avenger. Now in a blind. Trinket's blind. Goes for the... Can he get the Divine Favor? He's Cyclone. He gets stunned. They spell steal it, and that's going to be it. Dave taken out, and Change My Mind, move to match point.
Adrian.
Okay.
From DJ Alex looking to completely defy the meta in this series right here. They've been getting a lot of solid pressure on MLPal whenever he pushes in, but at the end of the day, it just seems like Change My Mind with the amount of control they have over Dave and DJ Alex not really able to defend himself. It's really difficult for the Penguins. However, maybe this is eye-opening for some other teams. If they can bring in a Restoration Shaman instead of that Holy Paladin, maybe this is a winning composition.
Penguins are suited up for battle here, taking one game against the Rogue Mage Menace. Can they take the whole series, though, is the question. It's looking a bit unlikely as Change My Mind found victory on the previous map. Caught off a bit off guard on the one prior. But now that they've got a solid strategy of just extending the match, doing hit and runs, it's going to be quite difficult for the Penguins to push them over. Arma is attacking MLPal. Now coming back to assist Dave. Infernal's called in. Dave going for an aggressive start in this game, which is match point. DJ Alex blinded. Trinkets. Fair trade on his part, although not paired with any cooldowns just yet. MLPal gripped in, but maybe a miscommunication. There was no stun. He's just easily going to jump to safety.
Yeah, Fried Kitty just trying to get control of the situation. Acro still has basically every single one of his offensive cooldowns. He's going to be waiting to get set up. They just need crowd control on DJ Alex, and they know it. DJ Alex, with no trinket, he's going to be vulnerable. Fried Kitty lands the polymorph on Arma. DJ Alex running on the Divine CDs. Heidman. Poike also, I've noticed, is playing a lot more defensive in this matchup. He's not going to be pushing in. He doesn't want to get too aggressive. He actually gets gripped into an Asphyxiate stun, but that Ring of Frost from Fried Kitty should help deny a lot of the offense available. DJ Alex in the Ring of Frost from Poike trying to run and hide. He gets the bash onto DJ Alex. Yes, Dave, and a smoke bomb right now. Changed my mind. They're getting aggressive, but Poike may have overstayed his welcome. Has to trade out the Iron Bark. And at this point, changed my mind. They've completely recovered. Poike did a good job. All he had to really trade out was that Iron Bark. And they're slowly but surely burning through some of the defensive cooldowns Penguins have available.
Slowly but surely climbing back here. Although, I don't know. They're in a pretty good position. Yes, Dave, 10%. DJ Alex pops the Avenging Wrath. Needs to be careful to not be interrupted. Fortunately for him, there aren't actually any available, so he connects some big heals. Yes, Dave stabilizes him, and Poike gets stunned. They're going after him. He's going to trade Barkskin. However, this may be a composition that he doesn't have the most amount of experience against. He could be caught off guard in the swap.
Poike is just dead!
And Penguins are trying to take this to a game 5. Barely holding on.
No! I can't believe it! How did Poike survive? Penguins are so sad right now. They got everything out of the way. Poike greeted it so hard, but still managed to hold on. Unbelievable. Good peels coming in for Fried Kitty and Acro to their credit, but I feel like that should have been a point in favor of the Penguins, but now changed my mind. They have an opportunity. There's a full polymorph on DJ Alex. Kidney shot over onto Yes Dave. Fried Kitty has Icy Veins rolling up in just 10 short seconds, and that's when they can really start getting aggressive onto Yes Dave.
All right, let's see if they can do it. Another swap attempt. Infernals this time. That's going to be an insane amount of damage. Arma getting 100% uptime.
He's actually
dead. Gets chopped. Penguins out for blood here, going to game 5.
Alex and his Penguins tied 2-2 against Change My Mind. It's a big map, it's a big task, but they might be able to take down Change My Mind.
I thought Change My Mind were going to knock Penguins out of the tournament 3-0 and send them to Madagascar, but they're looking to try and stay alive in the lower bracket, eliminating one of the top contenders for the top 4. That would definitely be a feat of strength indeed for the team of the Penguins, playing a peculiar composition. Can they precisely land their crowd control on Poike to secure another victory? Tiger's Peak selected, a pretty neutral map, no real advantage there, and that is the strategy. That is the name of the game. Kill Poike or die trying.
Poike going to be in a little bit of trouble. Hammer of Justice, Infernal Stun, Mortal Coil. They're still all over him. He uses his trinket. He uses his Barkskin. He's trying to run. He's trying to hide. Manages to get away. Good peels coming in from Acro off the back of that Vanish, landing stuns on all 3 members of the Penguins, slowing down their offense and allowing Poike a little bit of room to breathe. But the next attempt, there's no Barkskin. There's no trinket. And Poike could easily fall unless he can get that preemptive Iron Bark off. That will keep him alive, but it's got to be a heads-up play.
Well, let's see if they can get it going again. Switching to Fried Kitty for now, but DJ Alex is in a polymorph. Yes, Dave is in trouble. They disrupt the crowd control. DJ Alex is going to pop that Avenging Wrath, increasing his healing. He should be able to get a big Holy Light here pretty shortly. Maybe worried about getting interrupted, but now the kick's out of the way. No counter spell. Yes, Dave is going to stabilize. How are they going to set this up? Potentially they bait Acro around the corner, attack the Rogue, and then when Poike moves in to heal, they grip in Poike and they stun him up. Perhaps that is their best option. Poike anticipates the stun. He's in bear form for it, and Poike looks a lot more prepared here on Tiger's Peak.
Yeah, Poike, Mortal Coil comes in. He has the Iron Bark available and ready to go, and that keeps him alive. Now they're looking to make their offensive push over onto Yes Dave. Bash onto DJ Alex. Yes Dave gets interrupted. Nicely done by Fried Kitty. And I feel like if things go according to plan, Change My Mind can just keep Poike alive. They can deny these big setups that the Penguins have available. Slowly but surely, they'll start developing a massive lead in this game. Theoretically, I mean, that's how it's supposed to play out. according to everything we've seen. But Penguins have managed to find these massive moments of burst onto MLPal, and they can easily take him down if they find the damage. They have the cooldowns, but it seems like YesDave is just so far on the back foot. DJ Alex is forced to trade out his Divine Shield, and he still hasn't topped off YesDave.
He still hasn't topped off YesDave. The last cooldown remaining. Blessing of Sacrifice. The last line of defense. Penguins can't dent MLPal here in Game 5. He's more than ready. They're going to have to... I feel like they're going to have to change their strategies, go after a different target, but they're reluctant to do so. They're still just trying to chop him up. Iron Park activates. MLPal gets grip back, but YesDave is stunned, held at bay. Avenging Wrath active. DJ Alex needs to connect some big heals. Counterspell available. He can't afford to be interrupted or he won't be able to use that Blessing of Sacrifice. So instead, YesDave going to retreat away alongside DJ Alex. Arma's going to get crowd controlled in midfield. Vendetta available. Acro has the game-winning cooldown, and it's likely to be utilized on YesDave, but that window is slipping away with only 7 seconds left. Acro overextends, gets stunned on his trinket, gets the Gladiator Safeguard proc onto him. Great surprise attack by the Penguins.
Acro is far away on the mats at this point. He's looking for a re-stealth. I guess he feels like he's potentially overstayed his welcome. I mean, he's got no trinket, he's got no vanish, he's got no Cloak of Shadows, and I think Change My Mind is actually respecting Penguins a lot more after their 2 losses. In the first couple of games, they were willing to play a little bit over-aggressive in the matchup. And actually, this is what's really interesting to me is I feel like YesDave, even though theoretically it's not super good for Destruction Warlock to go into the Assassination Rogue, having the Paladin to back you up with the Ultimate Sacrifice, the Blessing of Protection, the fact that he has, Trinket and Divine Shield to get out of a lot of the crowd control that Change My Mind has available, and that Hammer of Justice to help YesDave out. There is a lot of windows of opportunity for the Penguins. They can hold on until dampening. It's actually Acro, once again, is in trouble. MLPal trades out his trinket. They overlap Cloak of Shadows with Ironbark. He's actually disastrous for Change My Mind. Penguins are finding a lot of openings.
Great strategy adaptation by the Penguins. Perhaps that can be enough for them to close out match point and knock Change My Mind out of the competition. Is the Death Knight Warlock Paladin going to be the Rogue Mage answer? They've got one more game to decide. Fried Kitty double blinks, but out of line of sight of DJ Alex. Now he gets gripped on his poly. Fortunately, MLPal was there. He's going to get a Cyclone, but they need to land a Polymorph. No Dark Simulacrum selected by Arma this time around, opting for more damage in this specific matchup, trying to add some extra burst to the fight. Can they close it out? Double stun combo. Acro could be in trouble. He's going to faint. Really relying on that. No follow-up, unfortunately, out of the stun. I could see a stun into fear ending the game. Arma lands potentially the game-winning interrupt. Acro evasions, again, overlapped with the Iron Bark, but YesDave's in trouble. DJ Alex trinkets out a blind. Both teams on the ropes in Game 5.
Yeah, Ice Block coming in from Fried Kitty as well. They're looking to get aggressive. Klepto meaning a spell steal onto YesDave, but Fried Kitty has to play defensive. He actually resets YesDave's health. Acro is in so much trouble. He has nothing left. There's no evasion. There's no cloak. If Penguins can push in, it could actually close the game. The question is, are they going to be able to do it? YesDave moves forward. MLPal and a Hammer of Justice into an Infernal Sun. MLPal is in so much trouble. He's trying to run. He's trying to hide. Acro looking to reverse the pressure on YesDave. Fried Kitty getting some damage rolling as well. Change My Mind in desperation, trying to hold on, although they're completely on the back foot at this time in the game, but the potential to reverse the damage is massive. MLPal is still low. He's got the Iron Bark, but look, Penguins, they have nothing left, Sid. They could easily fall in one more CC chain.
It's a race to the finish here in game number 5. And MLPal's almost out of mana. He's out of cooldowns, and Arma knows it. He's going to go for the kill. Popping Icebound Fortitude to get aggressive. Anti-Magic Shield to get aggressive. Be aggressive, Penguins, here in game 5, because that's all they've got left. YesDave, though, is going to get taken out. The push gets stopped. And Change My Mind will advance in the lower.
And you have yourself a pretty decent comp, actually, because they played this in the open bracket.
Okay, yeah. I want to correct you.
Well for them.
Moonkin, Affliction, Holy Priest.
Okay, sure, Sid. But I mean, I think it's fair to say that this is 3 classes you do not expect to see on the arena field, let alone paired together on the arena field. nLite, 70-odd% of you guys think they're going to win this one. Wildcard Gaming, though, let's not forget, they came second at the Summer Finals last year. They've been to pretty much every single LAN event in the last, how many? Like 6, 7 LAN events? These guys are absolutely crazy. If they were to not make it to Summer because of nLite, that would be, astonishing.
This is a really interesting composition coming in from nLite. Of course, they don't have the Mortal Wounds, but they're playing Cyclone and Repentance. So when they get the Hammer of Justice on Looney, Cassidy can cast a Cyclone, Kara can go for a Repentance, and you can only really stop one of them as Morrow. So eventually, Looney will be caught in crowd control. There's decent pressure here for Cassidy, for Kara. Both of them have been known to put out massive damage with the Retribution Paladin and the Feral Druid. Zuniaki is going to be able to help dish out the pain as well as dispel some of those really important mage abilities, like the Temporal Shield, like the Frozen Orb. Morrow could be in trouble, but Wildcard Gaming, they've built a really durable composition. I don't really see Blizzo going down in this match. It's going to be Morrow who's likely tunneled down. I mean, maybe they go after Blizzo, but I think Looney on the Mistweaver Monk is going to have so much throughput that it's going to take a lot of dampening for Blizzo and Morrow to actually fall.
You very rarely see these compositions in isolation, let alone head-to-head. It's difficult to determine who is favored. The Repentance and the Cyclone definitely threatening for a Mistweaver Monk. Crowd control going to be their natural enemy. Looney, though, rolling in, securing a double stun, while Zuniaki is actually able to premonition the Polymorph and break out. That is going to allow nLite some freedom to move. Blizzo the target for now. Looks like they're ignoring the mage altogether. The other thing is the Feral Druid Ret Paladin is decently mobile, brings in a lot of support for the Priest, and can enable the Priest to do a lot of damage. I am certainly excited to see how these compositions play out in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have to wait and see. Zuniaki taking quite a bit of cleave damage right now. The Ring of Peace coming in from Looney on that Power Word Barrier. Good heads-up play by Looney to allow his team to get out some additional damage during that powered barrier. Kara, of course, going to get disarmed there. Blizzo with just so much defense on that Arms Warrior. I have to see what he can do. Stormbolt onto Zuniaki. That's going to be the Blessing of Sanctuary from Kara. It's one of the utility spells that the Retribution Paladin has. That Blessing of Sanctuary can remove fear effects as well as stun effects, and it's really potent and is allowing Zuniaki some freedom in this match.
Yeah, neither team really able to dent each other so far. I was expecting these comps to be a little bit more intense into each other. Finally, some damage here from nLite. Looney going to respond with the Life Cocoon, absorbing a lot of damage. Blizzo should be able to be aggressive now with that cooldown active. Who is he going to go after? Looks like Kara. Morrow now getting switched to by nLite. Not really seeing any damage there either. This Retribution Paladin Feral Druid is actually what got nLite into the top 8. This could be the next best comp. Who really knows? It's definitely highly synergized. That's the one thing nLite have going for them, is even though their compositions are totally off meta, their specializations considered underdogs, when they pair them together, they create synergies that you wouldn't expect, and it's definitely bought them success, having been able to win one of the Summer Cups, potentially overcome Wildcard Gaming. I mean, Wildcard Gaming were easily #2 in Europe, the top rivals of Method Black for years, I feel, at this point. And now Wildcard Gaming in 8.2, they're falling off. They came close to having an answer to Rogue Mage Druid, but ultimately fell short. Now if they're struggling with nLite, this is not looking good for Wildcard Gaming in the summer season.
I mean, nLite's a really solid team. I feel like we don't give them enough credit. So far, there's only been one composition that hasn't really worked out too well for them so far. I mean, it's the Rogue Mage Druid that's really been giving them a difficult time. Outside of that, nLite is looking really good. They're really well-rounded. I think the compositions that they bring are super unique. Not a lot of teams are running the Retribution Paladin Warrior. Not a lot of teams are running the Feral Druid Retribution Paladin. I mean, we haven't seen it work just yet, but I'll have to see what they can do. Do you think that Wildcard Gaming is actually anticipating this comp?
Maybe. I mean, I feel like, don't you think Jungle would have just smashed Mistweaver?
Yeah, it definitely would have.
So it's that or Ret Warrior. How well do you think Arms Warrior Mage would do in a Ret Warrior? Probably okay. I feel like it
great.
Decent, but not fantastic. They definitely must have been expecting this. They know, if they've watched the open bracket, that nLite had this composition at their disposal. If you're nLite, what are you trying to counter with the Feral Ret Disc? What do you even beat that Wildcard Gaming play?
Who plays this comp? Like
why are they? The comps actually don't make sense to me, at least, based on what knowledge they have of each other's rosters.
Zuniaki plays this comp.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Who plays this comp other than nLite? I mean, we saw them play this even pre-8.2. It didn't look great then, but they did manage to stall out the game for quite some time. And, I mean, I feel like nLite, until the late game, it's going to be so difficult for them to actually go down in this matchup. They have so much self-healing with the Retribution Paladin, with the Feral Druid. There's lots of control with the Cyclone, as well as that Repentance, and Zuniaki backing them up, never really being exposed. I mean, Morrow isn't even going for crowd control, so you know the strategy of Wildcard Gaming. Live as long as you can, try to win in dampening. I mean, they haven't went for one crowd control chain on Looney that I've seen, or on Zuniaki that I've really seen so far. Kara and Cassidy should be able to deny, and maybe nLite, if they can just hold on long enough, they'll be able to take down Wildcard Gaming. They'll be able to take down Morrow even through all the Mistweaver healing that is available, but I'm still not entirely sold on it. Morrow's going to have a lot of backup from Blizzo, as well as Looney playing the Arms Warrior and the Mistweaver Monk. And the thing is, all 6 members in this match are just so durable. Both compositions, their offense is limited, but their durability is, they're stacking durability in this matchup.
Yeah, at this point, 10% dampening, no significant lead for either team at this point. Although in dampening, you'd say that the Warrior team is more favored. They're not bringing a lot of off-healing like the hybrids of the Retribution Paladin and the Feral Druid. So I would say that nLite are on more of a clock to close the game out, figure out what strategy they want to go for. Fortunately, they do have the tools to do it. They've got a lot of crowd control, which is great against a Mistweaver, Repentance, and Cyclone. Along with that, the Discipline Priest brings in offensive dispelling capabilities, so they can remove Enveloping Mist, they can remove Renewing Mist. So while the Mistweaver is crowd controlled, Zuniaki removes any other existing healing, and then they collide with huge burst on the Avenging Rats and the Berserk. And to me, that must be the strategy that nLite are going to employ. Double cross stun, both Morrow and Blizzo in trouble simultaneously. nLite, they're going for a split strategy. Morrow gets Cyclone on his Temporal Shield. Looney's got to be aware of that, try and set up to heal him. Looking for some Soothing Mist, channeling in some big Vivifies, but interrupted by Cassidy. Now Cassidy's overextended, gets stunned up. Kara using his Sanctuary on Cassidy. Normally you see the Sanctuary used on the healer, but in that position, because Cassidy was so overextended, and the Feral Druid can't use defensive cooldowns while stunned, it made a lot of sense for Kara to switch it, but now here comes the punish. Blizzo will activate Intimidating Shout, which Sanctuary isn't available for. Zuniaki will have to use Gladiator's Medallion instead, which is a very important cooldown as a healer. It's one of the only ways for Zuniaki to get out of crowd control aside from the Premonition. So now Zuniaki, he can't afford to make a mistake on any of Morrow's polymorphs.
Yeah, I mean, Zuniaki has to be really careful defending himself from crowd control. Morrow trying to sneak in one, unfortunately unable to find it. Morrow went for the polymorph, Premonition comes in. He tried to fake it, but Zuniaki, that bought him enough time to get out of line of sight. And Zuniaki's mana in this matchup is looking quite good right now. He's doing well. Looney also. I don't think either one of these healers has had to sort of back away and go for a drink at this point. Morrow getting bursted down. Massive damage coming in. Looney lands the Life Cocoon onto Morrow, but they're shredding through it. A lot of damage. Safeguard procs. Cassidy and Kara, they're on this Frost Mage, and this is difficult for Morrow to actually survive. Finally, some big heals come in from Looney, but Morrow's really struggling to get away from Cassidy in this match. Cassidy has to trick it out. He's going to be kiting around a little bit. Zuniaki really struggling to keep him alive also. I mean, Cassidy, he's all over the map. He's putting out good damage, but he is a vulnerable target. Morrow forced into his Ice Block. That was a massive ferocious bite coming in from Cassidy, forcing not only the Temporal Shield, but the Ice Block from Morrow. And nLite, they're looking solid.
I thought Wildcard Gaming would be favored in dampening, but nLite are doing a startling amount of damage, and if you're Wildcard Gaming, you might be second-guessing your blind lock composition. Perhaps they're going to have to craft something else. What if the Ret Feral just beats everything Wildcard Gaming have? We don't actually know, because who plays Ret Feral? There's got to be probably 0 games logged of experience and statistics for this composition in particular. Right now, mana is still even, cooldowns are solid. One Ice Block out of the way is definitely going to put on a lot more stress for Morrow. And this is a battle of that top 4. Wildcard Gaming cannot afford to fall out here. They're not even in the top 4 currently. nLite has an opportunity to pass them, to pass Zizon. This is not looking good. Repentance landed on Looney. He can't heal, but Cassidy is isolated by Blizzo, who's trying to counter-pressure him away from Morrow. Morrow blinking away, polymorphing Kara, stalling the game and holding out until a little bit deeper into dampening. But even if they do manage to hold out, it's not certain if they're actually favored.
This is amazing. I mean, nLite, just as a team, as a unit, they're able to utilize all 3 of their DPS members with unique compositions. They can run the jungle, they can run the Ret Warrior, they can run the Feral Druid Retribution Paladin. They have lots of different compositions, unique healers at their disposal. Overall, their team's looking really good. They got the first ice block from Maro. Can they get the second? He activates the Temporal Shield, trying to survive, but the damage is just so limited from Wildcard Gaming. Cassidy, he's sitting pretty, he's got his survival instincts. Kara's has all his defensive cooldowns right now. Rapture trades out from Zuniaki. The only win condition I see right now for Wildcard Gaming is a mana lead.
Yep, mana lead could be one way of finding victory here with Blizzo's consistent pressure on that warrior, but big bite connects on Amaro. He could be in a bit of trouble here. No life cocoon available, but now Zuniaki and a polymorph. Wildcard Gaming try to counterattack. Both healers taken out of the game. Who's going to falter first? Intimidating shout defensively, preventing Kara from supporting or counter-pressuring. Cassidy still the main focus point right now for Wildcard Gaming, but Blizzo's a bit overextended. Got swapped too and taken down to half health quite quickly. Zuniaki out in midfield. Wondering when Zuniaki's going to start getting aggressive for Psychic Screams, potentially. He's crossing the map, but he gets polymorphed. No premonition on that. Bit of a blunder. Now it's an opportunity for Wildcard Gaming, but even with the full polymorph, not denting. It's actually Blizzo that has to use Die by the Sword, and this Red Feral Priest is looking very good in game 1.
It's looking strong. It's looking solid. Blizzo now with no Die by the Sword. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble. 42% dampening and rising quickly. Zuniaki still doing well on mana, but he's evened out with Looney. Cassidy could easily fall. Zuniaki has to be very careful. He's actually playing in Gnome. He's playing in Gnome Discipline Priest. I'm kind of curious as to why he's playing Gnome in this matchup, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Zuniaki now in full polymorph, manages to find the premonition. Maro's been trying to find the crowd control. Finally, diminishing return polymorph comes in onto Zuniaki, but there's not too much damage. Cassidy, with the freedom of Kara, he's been able to kite around in this matchup quite well, and that's one great thing. I mean, the Feral Druid is really hard to catch, but when you add an additional freedom coming in from Kara, it's really difficult for that Feral Druid to actually get caught and Blizzo to have uptime. Now Blizzo's in a main stun. Looney's trying his best to keep him alive, but he's struggling to keep Blizzo afloat.
All right, how much longer can Wildcard Gaming keep this going? Polymorph on Zuni, but he pre-paint suppressions. Blessing of Protection also protecting Cassidy. Maybe not necessary from Kara. Perhaps he should have held on to that to break Intimidating Shout or a stun in the future. That Blessing of Protection got no value. I definitely could see that costing nLite the game. They're still trying to push forward, potentially going after Maro, but Maro is able to avoid the fight. Kara looking for Repentance. The other nice part about running Repentance in Cyclone is that you just take interrupts for your healer, and as a Discipline Priest, that means you can do a lot of damage. Although Cassidy is isolated, we see the knockback from Zuniaki. Not getting too much value there, unfortunately. Cassidy needs to start retreating, likely. Blizzo is chopping him up. He's very close to execute range. Looney trying to make sure he adds in that extra 5% physical damage with the Crackling Jade Lightning on Cassidy. Blizzo not going to be overextending. Zuniaki stabilizing. Dampening quite high at this point. It is going to become insanely difficult for either team to recover from a huge burst of damage. It's all about anticipating it, making an aggressive trade, and then swinging off of that momentum. Blizzo's trying to build that momentum now, but he's overextended. Trying to punish. Cassidy landing a stun. He's going to use Survival Instincts on the Blade Storm. Line of sight. Zuniaki breaks out of the poly, but now into that Intimidating Shout. And because it landed onto 2 players, Kara can't support. Beautifully done by Blizzo.
Cassidy's just running behind the pillar. He gets interrupted. Now Zuniaki can free cast. Nice interrupt coming in from Blizzo. Cassidy line of sights the Shadow Man. That's a bit scary for Cassidy. It's going to be really difficult for Zuniaki to actually recover in this situation. They have to go on Blizzo. Kara with his Avenging Wrath looking to get really aggressive, but can they actually take him down? This composition from Wildcard Gaming is looking sturdy. It's looking durable. Looney's been able to just sit back and channel out heals, and Mistweaver Monks have quite a bit of throughput. Even at 58% dampening, they can heal through this damage. Blizzo's going to be okay. It's a lot of healing reduction for both teams. I don't know how nLite has managed to hold on for so long, but Kara, Cassidy, Zuniaki, the amount of healing they bring in. The thing is, they need to actually find a kill in this matchup. Who do they go after? I mean, Maro, he's got both of his ice blocks. Blizzo has to die by the sword. Now Kara getting swapped to. He's forced to run away. And at this point, Kara and Cassidy, they're forced so defensive. I don't know if they're going to be actually able to land a kill, but they might just take down Blizzo. Die by the sword trades out. This is so scary for both teams. Cassidy's out of mana. Zuniaki's almost completely tapped. Full Hammer of Justice over onto Looney. Blitzo trying to deny the repentance of Kara. As Looney, he does have his trinket available, but you can't afford to fall behind at this point in the game. This is the highest dampening we've seen in quite some time.
All right, the healers are finally almost out of mana here, 15.5 minutes into the match. It's surprising that they're able to maintain so long such high caliber teams. Cassidy jumping in, securing an interrupt on Looney, likely game winning, bashing Looney out of the interrupt. Perfect follow-up. Looney trinket Cyclone, life cocoon.
It's looking like a powered shield at that point.
It's not looking like too much. Blizzo cycloned on it even. Cassidy getting reversed on. Pain suppression and barrier are available. Very surprising to not see cooldowns traded here. With dampening at 67%, certainly the healers can't get away with the exchanges they were making earlier on in the match. Cassidy on the run, ducking for cover, but Morrow is sniping him out, and I don't think it's going to be enough. Lights out. Wildcard Gaming game 1.
Blind. This series really could go the full distance, guys. It's the final series of the day. Winner of this one goes through the championship Sunday, and the loser is going to have such a tough time to qualify for summer.
Z-Pi is actually the target. No way. Please don't go. Why would you go on the Elemental Shaman?
I mean, I feel like both of them could die very easily. Don't you think?
Yeah, but now you have to deal with Cyclone. There's so much more disruption. The Balance Druid can just freely rain out damage. I don't like the Elemental Shaman as the target.
I mean, he's dead. What do you mean you don't like it?
I still don't like it. Even if he dies, I don't like it.
Well, let's see how the game goes, because I feel like nLite probably have a better idea of how this composition works. Let's at least let them try their strategy. Now they're going to be going after Morrow, and I think bouncing between the two targets isn't bad. Zuniaki taking a huge hit. This is the Astral Shift from Morrow, putting out big damage at this time, but unfortunately not the Astrals, at the Incarnation. And Morrow's able to get out a huge hit, but luckily Tana can easily heal through it with that Ascendance, keeps Zuniaki and Kara alive in that situation, and now the Retribution Paladin and the Warrior can continue to get aggressive onto Morrow.
Yeah, Morrow now actually switching back to Z-Pi. Looney, mana not looking, well, too bad. Honestly, I was expecting his mana to be a bit lower based off the initial exchange of damage from nLite. Avenging Wrath active. Kara's damage going to be enhanced there for a moment, but now Cycloned. And this is the danger of leaving the Balance Druid open. Obviously, like, Tana can use Grounding Totem and Wind Shear, which he should be, I think, on Cyclone, and just making it difficult for Morrow to support Z-Pi if he is going to be the target. But ultimately, I think maybe switching off Thorns might be the only reason why you wouldn't want to attack the Balance Druid. Morrow going to be jumping into Incarnation for a moment, lobbing out some pretty big Star Surges. Repentance, though, secured on Looney. Still an effective crowd control metric for nLite to counteract that Mistweaver healing. They also bring in the Purges to remove the Enveloping Mist as well. I'm wondering if Tana is running the Chain Heal build, though. I thought for sure he'd be running the Cleansing Waters to counteract the damage over time effects from Morrow and Z-Pi, but I haven't really seen it. Kara in a Lightning Lasso, going to activate the Shield of Vengeance, absorb a big amount of damage and allow himself to be aggressive.
Yeah, Kara does manage to completely stabilize. There's an intimidating shout by Zuniaki onto Morrow. And unfortunately, it's not going to be able to land onto Looney, and they lose out on that crowd control. Z-Pi now getting a little bit low, but it's Zuniaki once again on the back foot, and maybe this pick backfires from nLite. We felt like the Jungle Cleave would have been good. I mean, they do have a lot of damage rolling onto Morrow, and anything can happen. Tana's mana still doing well. Looney has a little bit of a lead, but they still have a lot of defensive cooldowns. There's been a little bit scary moments where Zuniaki does get low, but still, Tana has so much that he can work with and rotate through in this matchup, especially with Kara backing him up. And Morrow's falling further and further behind, forced to trade out his Bark Skin. And then he does manage to connect some heals, get in a prime position once again. Now we're about 2 minutes away from dampening. The question is, who does this actually favor? In that exchange, Kara had to use his Divine Shield. The damage output from Z-Pi and Morrow is really surprising in this match.
Yeah, pretty surprising indeed. Hex on Tana, no way to get out. Pressure onto two targets. Stormkeeper available for Z-Pi. Looking to line that up with some big lightning bolts. Zuni going to be leaping to the pillar, then charging back out. Curious as to why he didn't go for crowd control there, but not too sure why Zuniaki ended up using the heroic leap like that. Now trying to make his way back to Z-Pi. Bladestorm in battle stance. Z-Pi on the run in Ghost Wolf. Kara gets cycloned away by Morrow. Maro stalling the fight, now switching the Cyclone to Tana. This is the disadvantage of not attacking the Balanced Druid, is your entire team is going to get controlled. And while they're controlled, they can isolate a target and burst it down, which is exactly what they need to do to find a kill. Zuniaki barely holding on. Trinket from Tana, but not lined up with any other cooldowns, so it's definitely an opening moving forward. Usually want to be lining up the Trinket with the Spirit Link Totem or a Trinket with a cooldown because you can't access your cooldowns in crowd control otherwise. Zuniaki still running that Relentless as well, although running with the Human Racial can escape some Lightning Lassos. I would like to see a setup here from Wildcard Gaming. It seems to me that they have good cross-crowd control. You can Paralysis the Shaman, clone the Ret, Lightning Lasso the Warrior, switch the clone from the Ret to the Shaman and finish off the Warrior, or even land Hex. I mean, there's a lot of crowd control potential for Wildcard Gaming that they're not even really utilizing.
Maro has to trade out the box. But Kara, he just gets deleted. That damage was insane from Wildcard Gaming. They're going to go up 2-0 in the series. Massive damage from Maro, from Zeepai.
And Cassidy coming in on that Feral Druid, looking to put 3 in a row on the board, or they will be eliminated from the tournament.
This is the composition we wanted to see from nLite, the Jungle Cleave. I think it's going to fare a lot better for them. If they can get the pressure rolling on tomorrow, it's going to be about denying crowd control on Looney. But Karas, he's going to be moving forward. Zeepai denying. Nicely done by the Lightning Lasso. Unfortunately, Looney's still caught into a trap, and Maro's going to be in a little bit of trouble.
It's all just about keeping Maro pinned in bear farm and securing crowd control on Looney, and then trading cooldowns for when Zeepai sets up his burst. I think if they can effectively utilize that strategy, they're going to be able to find victory. I don't mind switching off of the Thorns to try and minimize the counter pressure that Wildcard Gaming are going to dish out, but if they leave Maro open too long, the Cyclones are going to become a bit overwhelming. It just sets up Zeepai so effectively. Zeepai running that grounding totem for freezing traps. Definitely going to have to keep their eyes on that as well when they move forward in this fight. Zuniaki looking like he wants to cross midfield and look for crowd control. Bit peculiar as to why he's pushed so far forward and not towards Looney. They're actually just going to punish him for wandering into the middle of the map and switch. Big hit on Zuni. Desperate Prayer needs to be enough. He's going to use Rapture as well and then get back to the pillar. That was very odd by Zuniaki.
Yeah, that was strange. I guess he wanted to land a Fear onto Zeepai when they got the full trap over on the Looney. That's the only explanation I can come up with. And that way they get cross-crowd control and get CC on the Looney, CC on the Zeepai, and it forces Maro into this 1v3 situation where he's really vulnerable. About a minute and a half into the game. Right now, Looney's got no life cocoon. There's an opportunity here. Zuniaki, of course, uses the Dark Archangel. They're looking to get aggressive. This is the full trap. This is when Maro's in trouble. Zeepai's in a Fear. Maro's all alone. Looney does have the cooldowns to trade out. Can they force it? Maro forced to Trinket out. He's got the renewal if he needs it, but he's holding on, and the pressure from nLite's a lot lower than I really expected.
That pressure is subsiding initially here for nLite. Zuniaki and a Cyclone. Stormkeeper available. Zeepai channels it. Potentially big damage here. Cassidy gets gripped back to the pillar. Big connect from that Lightning Lasso as well as the Star Surges. Comboing and getting the Gladiator Safeguard. Unfortunately, nothing else. nLite then securing a freezing trap and look to get aggressive. Maro retreats away. nLite switch targets. They get the Astral Shift from Zeepai. Then can switch back to Maro likely and get pressure onto 2 targets if they can pull Life Cocoon as well. It would certainly be great for them. They do. They get Life Cocoon as well as Astral Shift. Big opening for nLite.
Yeah, and there's a lot of damage rolling onto Maro as well. I mean, he uses his Bark Skin. There's no Life Cocoon as a safety net. Tara, Cassidy, they're going to be able to get out massive damage with the Dark Archangel of Zuniaki. nLite has a huge hit available. Stun onto Zeepai. Looney, what are you going to do? He's not in crowd control just yet. He has to play catch-up. There's the full trap. Zuniaki pulls the trigger on the Dark Archangel. They're actually just going after Zeepai. There's no Astral Shift. He gets interrupted. Big damage. Looney trinkets out into a full Fear. There's no Tremor Totem. But they're still lacking the damage. They might just be able to take Zeepai down. He's barely holding on. He's trying to kite away. Going after Maro, apparently it was the wrong target. It seems like nLite going after Zeepai just have so much more pressure.
Oh, Car getting bursted down. Certainly at any moment, if you're below 50% health, there could be a 150k Earthshock looming in the murky waters. So Zuni needs to make sure that his team is almost always above 50% health. Otherwise, Zeepai might just zap them out of the competition. Wildcard Gaming are looking solid here. This composition is certainly doing them favors against nLite, but their mana is starting to lag behind. If nLite keep up these swaps and pressure on 2 targets, I'm not sure how much longer Looney can keep this up.
We'll have to see. Z-Fi, there's the Life Cocoon coming in from Looney. Lots of damage. Kara down. 30% health and a Lightning Lasso. Pain Suppression trades out by Zuniaki, but Kara, he's still in trouble. He's got no exhilaration. He does have the aspect of the turtle, but they hold on. Mara with the Cyclone freezes his health. Zuniaki not really struggling too much to top him off. If we look at mana, it's even for both healers. Pressure's been relatively even in this matchup as well, but Looney's been falling further and further behind.
Freezing Trap secured. 2 members of Wildcard Gaming low on health. nLite finally have pressure. Dark Archangel enhancing their damage. Mara on the run, but no Life Cocoon. Not trading Barkskin here. Maybe like to save it for when he's stunned, but now he trinkets out of the stun, combos it with Renewal, boosting his health back into the fight. Mana slightly in favor of Wildcard Gaming. Innervate for Morrow, active on Looney. He's getting a lot of free heals. Paralysis on Zuni. Perfect crowd control. Cassidy in trouble. nLite on match point and could be out of the competition and could lose opportunities to qualify to the summer finals if they can't pull off the comeback. Cyclone at low health now. Panic for Zuniaki. Kara is low as well. 2 members. How is Zuni going to recover? Rapture activated. Big power word shields in from Zuniaki. Z-Pi can remove those with Purge, but now he's stunned up. He's trying to ground the freezing trap. Not able to find it. Also not tremoring Morrow out of the Psychic Scream, instead saving it for Looney later on, but I think Zuni's almost always going to allocate that to a DPS member. Cassidy, no! Cassidy might be having a technical difficulty, and obviously if you're Wildcard Gaming, you're playing to win. Summer Finals potentially on the line for them, so I don't imagine that they're going to be waiting. They are going to be zapping Cassidy out of the competition. Wildcard Gaming advanced 3-0.
Yeah, that's a